Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Parabhutera dharmasya tamasa chapi paschima nadyo naganadinam cha gotranam asti samhati.
From the Lord's back arose destruction, irreligion, and ignorance. From his wheels arose the rivers and streams. From his bones arose mountains.
Yeah, these are all things appeared from the back of the Lord. These things what are mentioned here and what are mentioned in the first chapter. If you compare, both are matches. Maybe here and there a little bit difference may be there, but all match. From the back, as we discussed today, back means not literally back here, but something like stool. Destruction, parabhuter, adharma, and tamasa, ignorance. From his veins, they are compared to rivers and streams. And from his bones, the bones are compared to the mountains.
This is only Virat Rupa.
Yeah, this is also Virat Rupa. This chapter also is second description of the universal form. Tamasa means ignorance. It arose from his back, Pashchima. Gotrana means mountains. Avyaktarasa sindhunam bhutanam nidanasya cha udaram viditam pumsho hrudayam manasa padam.
From his belly rose oceans, juice in food, pradhanas, and destruction of all entities. From his heart arose the mind of man.
Yeah, from the belly of the Lord arose oceans. Also, juice in food. So anything liquid, basically juice in the food, and also pradhana, and also the destruction of all entities. Why belly is compared to the destruction of all entities? Any idea? Any thought?
The acids can be produced, and even if from the actual entities, everything.
Okay. Have you been to Jagannath Puri? There is a special pastime in relation to Jagannath Puri and Markandeya Rishi. Have you ever heard that? Markandeya Rishi. What was the specialty of Markandeya Rishi?
Pralaya actually happened. He was in his Jagannath Puri. And Jagannath Puri is not annihilated during the Pralaya.
कैसे क्या?
मैं सुना है.
और क्या सुना?
आपकी क्लास में सुना.
और क्या सुना?
और एक पास्ट टाइम भी है.
पूरा हुआ नहीं. अब abdomen का पास्ट टाइम का संबंध क्या है?
तो जब
in that area he was performing austerities, he wanted to see the Maya. There was Pralaya, everything destroyed, everything covered by ocean, but only one banyan tree was visible, not the whole Jagannath Puri. Underneath that tree there is a small boy, Vadapatrashai. Then he went nearby. Then he opened the mouth. Markandeya Rishi entered into the mouth, entered into the abdomen. What did he saw in the mouth, in the abdomen? What did Markandeya Rishi saw in the abdomen of that small boy? The whole universe he saw. Basically, he wanted to see Maya means how the universe, the creation, maintenance, and destruction happened. That's what he wanted to see. Here, Lord, that small boy was showing to Markandeya Rishi about the destruction. So after destruction, everything enters back into the body of Mahavishnu. That's what we know. But where does it stay? Within the abdomen. So that's what Markandeya Rishi saw. In the abdomen of that small boy, he saw the entire universe. Same way, Mother Yashoda also saw the entire universe within the abdomen of Lord Krishna.
No.
Huh?
No.
Then what?
No.
Mouth is the window. The mouth से पूरा abdomen में है, इधर से उधर दिख रहा था. भागवतम में अच्छे से पढ़ो.
Give you a new perspective.
It was in abdomen only. This mouth is like a window. So through the window of the mouth, she saw everything that is there in the abdomen of Krishna. Same way, Markandeya Rishi entered into the abdomen of a small boy, Vadapatrashai, and see the entire universe. That is the destruction of all entities. Bhutana Nidanasya. So that is also compared to the belly of the Lord. So they all enter back into the belly. From his heart arose the mind of man. Viditam Manasa Padam. Where does the mind stay? Okay, na? Avyakta indicates Pradhana. Rasa means juice in food. Bhutanam Nidhanasya means the destruction of all living entities. Dharmasya mama tubhyam cha kumaranam bhavasya cha vijnanasya cha sattvasya parasyatma parayanam.
That is why it is actually said Damodarashtakam.
What is said in Damodarashtakam?
Namo
Damodaraya. Entire Vishwa is there within the abdomen. So if offering obeisance to abdomen of the Lord is as good as offering obeisance to the entire universe. So that only. Later on you see that past time, whether a mother Yashoda saw within the mouth only or within the abdomen, the entire universe. Okay, read.
His Antakarna is the shelter of Dharma. Me, you, the Kumaras, Shiva, intelligence, and Chitta.
Dharmasya mama tubhyanam cha kumaranam bhavasya cha vijnanasya cha sattvasya parasyatma parayanam. Parasya atma parayanam is Antakarana, is the shelter of. Antakarana means man buddhi ahankara chetana. Where do they stay? They stay in the heart. So in that sense, the heart of universal form is the shelter of Dharma. Dharma should be there in the heart. We should hold Dharma. And we should hold Lord Vishnu in the heart. Dharma and me. Okay, here Brahma is speaking now. Brahma is also supposed to be in the heart. Antakarana is the shelter of Dharma. The shelter of me, that means Brahma. The shelter of you, that means Narada Muni. The shelter of Kumaras is the shelter of Shiva. It is the shelter of intelligence. It is the shelter of Chitta. So in the previous verse, what was mentioned? From his heart arose mind. So heart mein mind hai. And now it is said in the heart, intelligence is there. In the heart, Chitta is there. And Man Buddhi, Chitta, and Antakarana. Huh? Antakarana means the four internal senses, Man Buddhi, Hankara, Chetana. These four stay in the heart. Many times heart is said, sometimes Antakarana is said, sometimes Chitta is said. Chitta also sometimes taken as heart. They are interchangeably used many times. Because Antakarana are there in the heart. Whether you say Antakarana mein hai or heart mein hai, dono ek hi jagah par hai na. They are not here and there. So in that sense, the heart of the universal form is giving space to the mind, as with the previous verse. And here intelligence is there, and Chitta is there. And what else is missing? Ahankara is missing, na? Okay. Then who else is there? Kumaras are there. So Kumara Sampradaya is covered. Shiva is there. Shiva Sampradaya is covered. Rudra Sampradaya is covered. And Brahma is there. Brahma Sampradaya is covered. Narada is there. Huh? So the one, yeah, yeah.
She is on the Sri.
Anyway, she is already on the heart only. So she is also covered. And for everyone, Dharma is required. Dharma is there in the heart. Dharma to chahiye na. Dharma ke bina kya karenge? Dharma means. No, my understanding. I am just casually saying by seeing the verse.
Okay.
So nowhere it is said like that. We'll see if there is something in the notes, but this is my understanding. See,
but the previous,
heart is the place for four internal senses. I told you yesterday. Yes. Now I am giving you the proof.
This is the reference.
Previous one said mind. Here intelligence is there, Chitta is there, Ahankara is not there. We may find it somewhere else. Forget it. And now, heart means some bhakti man se pura man se karne ka. Heart. Dharma should be there within the heart. And of course, Dharma also appears from the heart of Brahma. That is there in the 3rd and 12th chapter. And Brahma is here, Kumara is here, Shiva are here, and Narada Muni is here. As basically, I am connecting them to Sampradaya, but actually, Antakarana should be shelter of all these different people. These are all wonderful souls, na? Who are always thinking of the Lord. So, what is that verse? Lord Vishnu says to Durvasa Muni, Sadhavo Hrudayam Mayam. Sadhu Namtu Hrudayantaham. Where did the Lord stay?
In the heart of the
Huh.
devotees.
Who will stay in the heart of the Lord? Sadhus. So these are all sadhus only, na? Brahma, Narada, Kumara, Shiva. They are all sadhus. They are staying in the heart of the Supreme Lord. Okay. So basically, I'm trying to connect them to Sampradayas because the bhakti or any sadhana should be practiced from the very heart, involving one's very heart. So that is where the Lord is situated in that sense. Kumarana means Sanaka and his brothers. Bhavasya means Shiva. Vijnanasya means intelligence. Satvasya means Chitta. Atma means Antakarana.
Why Atma is actually related, connected to Antakarana?
हाँ ओके भगवद गीता इतना बार सुना होगा बचपन से अभी तक कितना एज आपका तो 33 बार तक बार कम से कम सुनना चाहिए 33 बार सुनना चाहिए था so see many times mind is said as Atma in the Bhagavad Gita, body is said as Atma in the Bhagavad Gita, senses are said as Atma in the Bhagavad Gita, the grass body also told as Atma in the Bhagavad Gita. Everything, different things are used. Atma is generally used for all wide variety of understanding.
So one of the 7 meanings of Atma is
here Atma is used as Antakarana, or we can best way is heart, because heart is the place of Antakarana. We can take it as heart also.
Can you please look at the previous version?
Why?
So it is a continuation of the last Shriyam Manasapadam. From there, it is a continuation.
Yes.
The 12th verse.
Yeah. Connect to both, and the Atma can be seen as Antakarana also to them. So now, itna bolne ke baad, who else are there in the universe, and who is the Lord? There is a nice comparison between the living entities and Lord. Of course, Lord's pervasion, all pervasive nature is mentioned here. Aham bhavan bhavaschaiva tayi me munayo graja sura sura nara naga kaga mruga sarisrupa gandharvapsaraso yaksha raksho bhuta gano raga Ashava pitara siddha vidyadharacharana dhruma अन्ये च विविधा जीवजाला अन्ये च विविधा जीवा जलस्थलानभौकसा ग्रहार्षा केतवस्तारा स्तडिता स्तनयित्नवा सर्वं पुरुषमेवेदं भूतं भव्यं भवश्चेत् तेनेदम् आवृतं विश्वं वितस्तिम् अधितिष्ठति.
You, Shiva, the sages, the Kumaras, the Devatas, Asuras, humans, Nagas, birds, beasts, reptiles, Gandharvas, Apsaras, Yakshas, Rakshasas, Bhutas, Uragas, cows, Pitris, Siddhas, Vidyadharas, Chamaras, trees, planets, constellations, comets, stars, lightning, clouds, all these are only the Lord. Whatever existed in the past, whatever exists in the present, and whatever will exist in the future is covered by the Lord. He extends beyond the universe by 10 fingers.
Whatever you may think of in the universe, everything is manifested from the universal form. That is understanding. Nothing exists independent of him. Everything has in connection with him only. So, his all-pervasive nature has been indicated here. Till now, in the previous verses, about the senses, places that we see across is mentioned. Now, all the different category of living entities. The entire universe is the resting place of all these different variety of living entities. There is nothing beyond that. Everything is covered in this. And whatever exists in the past, whatever exists in the present, and whatever will exist in the future is all covered by the universal form. And that Lord, who is the source of the universal form, extend beyond the universe by 10 fingers. Because the Supreme Lord is the possessor of the Maya Shakti, everything in this world is non-different from him. This confirms the meaning of the Purusha Sukta prayer. What was that yesterday? One verse, one phrase, Visyana. Whatever Maya does, it is all attributed to Lord Vishnu. Shaktimator, Shakti, Shaktimator, Abedat. There is no difference between Shakti and Shaktimata, Shaktiman. The line starting Sahasra Shirsha and 3 verses starting with Brahmanasya Mukamasit in the Purusha Sukta were described in the previous chapter 2.5.35. In the previous chapter, there was one verse. I told you to memorize 2.5.35. So that verse is from Purusha Sukta prayers. Now Purusham Evedam Sarvam, the Lord is everything in the universe. From the Purusha Sukta is illustrated in 3.5 verses. After showing that the Supreme Lord is the cause of the material world, Brahma states that the Lord is beyond the material world and limits the whole world. That this world is covered by the Supreme Lord because he exists greater than this world. Lord enters the universe, pervades everywhere, manifests all the living entities, all the lokas, all the abodes, all the functions of different devatas. Then he goes beyond the universe and remains there as Karmadaksha Vishnu. That is what we discussed in at the meaning of the previous verse 2.5.35. He remains exceeding it by 10 fingers. With a sim, that previous translation 10 fingers, na? This is stated to express his superiority to the universe, not to express the dimension, since he cannot be measured, being unlimited. It also indicates that there are 10 universal layers between both the lords. This illustrates the Purushukta line, Sabhumim Sarvato Svishta Vaditishta Dashangulam. Touching the earth or touching the universe, he extends himself beyond it by 10 fingers. Bhumi means Vishwam in this context. Dashangulam means Vitasim. Atatishtas means Aditishtati. Here are the 2 verses. The 2 verses from Bhagavatam, the previous chapter 35th verse, current chapter 16th verse, and first 2 verses of the Purushukta prayer. The colors indicate which line matches to which line. Saeva Purushattasmad Andam Nirbidya Nirgata Sahasroru Angirbahu Sahasra Aksha Sahasrana Shirshavan Sarvam Purusha Evedam Bhutam Avemba Vaschayate Nedam Avrutam Vishwam Vishadim Tadishtati. That is Bhagavatam. So this line is Om Sahasra Shirsha Purusha Sahasraksha Sahasrapat. Here everything is there same as it is. Sabhumim Sarvato Sprushta Aditishta Dashangulam. Tenedam Avrutam Vishwam Vishadim Tadishtati. Having entered the universe, having manifested everything, having spread everywhere, okay, then Garbhodaksha Vishnu goes outside the universe and merges back with Karmadaksha Vishnu, okay, and in between both of them there are 10 universal layers. Garbhodaksha Vishnu is inside the universe, Karmadaksha Vishnu is outside the universe. In between we have 10 universal layers: earth, water, fire, air, ether, Ahankara, Mahatattva. There is the 8th layer of Pradhana. Pradhana is made up of mode of ignorance, mode of passion, mode of goodness. And these 3 modes also act like the 3 different layers. Thus total there are 10 layers. That is indicated by this verse.
Pradhana, which is by goodness, is the same as what you mentioned.
Pradhana means Prakriti.
That is Chaitanya, consciousness.
Pradhana is 3 modes. Mahatattva is consciousness.
Mode of goodness.
Pradhana means 3 modes. Pradhana means the 3 modes in equilibrium state. The original seed is Pradhana, where 3 modes are sleeping. That is Pradhana. So Pradhana means Prakriti. Prakriti.
Okay, that is the last layer.
That is the 8th layer. That should be seen as the 8th layer.
Then how did the 3 actually have the 3 different layers?
Because Pradhana is made up of 3 modes, na? Each mode can act as a different layer. If you remember that chart which you have shown.
Pradhana, when we actually say it is in equilibrium, it hasn't been.
What is equilibrium in Pradhana? What is equilibrium in Pradhana?
Before the Kala, Karma and...
okay, before Kala, Karma, Swabhava entered into Pradhana, what is in equilibrium? What is in equilibrium? 3 modes are in equilibrium. Pradhana is made up of 3 modes, and the 3 modes are in equilibrium. Pradhana means Prakriti. Prakriti means 3 modes only, nothing else. Prakriti means 3 modes. So Prakriti all put together can be taken as one layer. Since Prakriti is made of 3 modes, it can be seen as the 3 layers, 3 in 1.
And when we give the dimensions also to this, that one layer is
10 times thicker than the previous layer.
So
yes.
Accordingly, if we take for the Pradhana, Pradhana is actually 10 times thicker than its former layer.
Mahatattva.
And now, if you take them as
3 different layers.
Then how do we actually say with respect to the
Tamasic layer is 10 times thicker than the Mahatattva. Rajasic layer is 10 times thicker than the Tamas. And Sattva layer 10 times thicker than the Rajasic layer. Then it becomes bigger. So it's okay. Big. उतना जरूरत नहीं, वो उधर उतना पर्टिकुलरिटी जरूरत नहीं, वो ऑलरेडी बड़ा हो गया ना, इतना बड़ा में और थोड़ा बड़ा हो गया तो क्या प्रॉब्लम।
वैसे तो पेनिट्रेट करने वाले जो है वो योगीज करेंगे।
हाँ वो तो हो जाएगा, इतना गया उतना भी जाएगा ना आगे।
हमको तो भगवान लेके जा रहे हैं तो लेके जाएंगे, तो हम इधर ही रहेंगे।
हमको मारना है आपको।
अर्थ वाटर फायर ऐसा अर्थ पूरा अर्थ रहेगा ना, उसको पेनिट्रेट करना।
आप नहीं, आप मतलब पेनिट्रेट करेंगे ना, आप मतलब ग्रास बॉडी नहीं ना, सटल बॉडी के साथ आत्मा जाएगा ना, आत्मा तो किधर भी पेनिट्रेट कर सकते हैं, आत्मा को क्या कौन रोकेगा। अभी शरीर में है, एक दिन शरीर को छोड़ के बाहर पेनिट्रेट करके बाहर आएंगे ना, वैसे उद्यम में चला जाएगा, उसमें क्या।
लेकिन वो तो एक हिस्से निकलता है ना,
how does the atma lives for the yogis?
समझ गया मैं।
हाँ वो चलेगा, वैसे ही निकल जाएगा, निकल हो जाएगा।
भगवान लेके जाएंगे, ठीक है,
आप ही मेरे को लेके जाएंगे।
Okay, what is your doubt?
He extends beyond the universe by 10 fingers.
That's what we are discussing now.
So, and in the next slide, we said that this statement is actually referred
to 10 layers.
Is to actually emphasize the point of superiority
yes.
of he.
So that is notes from Acharyas. And in my cosmology presentation, I use this verse to quote, there are 10 layers. This is from my cosmology slide, just copied from there and pasted here. I use these 2 verses to indicate that there are 10 layers to our universe.
Okay.
So this is my commentary. It is nowhere mentioned in scriptures. Okay. I use this verse to quote 10 layers. Okay, Dashangulam is indicating 10 inches. What do you mean by 10 inches? 10 inches means 10 layers. The gap between Garbhodaksha Vishnu and Garbhodaksha Vishnu is 10 inches. So it's like
the units of measurement.
Swadishnam pratapan prano bahischa pratapati aso evam virajam pratapam tapati antar bahipuman.
Just as the life air energizes the body inside and spreads his influence outside as well, the Lord energizes the universe inside and outside as well.
Swadishnam pratapan prano bahischa pratapati aso. Okay, just like the sun illuminates everywhere, Lord is also illuminating, energizing the entire universe inside and outside. Similarly, the life airs also energize the body inside and spreads its influence outside as well. Life airs are the inside also. We are breathing air. Air is inside the body, and air is outside also. We need air also outside. अभी ठंडा हवा आ रहा है, अभी ये नहीं रहेगा तो बाहर से गर्म हवा आएगा. So it is maintaining us from outside also, and is also maintaining us by going inside as breathing air. Similarly, the Lord energizes the universe by being situated himself inside the universe and by staying outside the universe. Inside the universe is Garbhodaksha Vishnu. Outside the universe, like that. An example is given for what it is explained in the previous verse. The life air energizes the interior of the body and spreads its heat outside as well. The Lord is situated in the universal form as the Antaryami. Energizes in the sense of empowering it with his Jnana, Kriya and Dravya Shaktis. Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Dravya Shakti. And thus spreads his influence inside and outside as well. You remember again, Jnana Shakti means mode of goodness, Kriya Shakti means mode of passion, Dravya Shakti means mode of ignorance. Here also 3 modes.
How do Sri Vaishnavas understand this without having the concept of Karma-daksha Vishnu and the Vibhutis Vishnu?
I don't know. Did we?
No, they don't have the concept of different Vishnus.
No, they will have. Who said they don't have?
Hmm.
These names are there in Vishnu Purana and everywhere.
Shiva-daksha Vishnu.
These names are always there. Yeah.
And their specific functional roles. with
Obviously,
respect to their
obviously.
names.
Itna to hai rahega na. See, these things we are discussing.
Hmm.
As a Bhakti Yoga students, we are discussing here. For a common public who come to Darshan, who may hear some Gita course classes, etc., will they also discuss all these things?
Hmm.
Something like that. Even we also, when we visit Sri Vaishnava temples, we go for darshan, come back. Did we ever attend any class?
No.
Attend? We also same case. At least we are from Tirupati. So we are much remote place. So we never attended their classes the way they do Shastra, scrutinized English study, Shastra study. So when you do that, you understand what is their philosophy and all everything. We know philosophy superficially, not like general people, how they know about Krishna consciousness. That much only we know about Vaishnavism. They also must be having all this. Because these are all from scriptures. Na? What is in the Bhagavatam will be there in the other Puranas also. It is not that only Bhagavatam has all these details. It will be there in Vishnu Purana, Garuda Purana. All the Puranas will have same information. Creation pastime should be there in every Purana. This is one of the 18 topics that a Purana should contain. One of the 10 topics that a Purana should contain. So all Puranas will talk about the creation. It should be there everywhere.
Every Purana.
Obviously. Maybe may not be with the full details. But here it may be full details and there may be.
The other Puranas also.
Every Purana will have all the details.
So the Rajasic Puranas actually consider Lord Shiva to be the origin of
Lord Brahma. Rajasic Lord Brahma, Tamasic Lord Shiva. It's not about the origin, it's about the object of worship.
So origin on all the Purana, even in Rajasic Purana and Tamasic Purana, Vishnu is actually considered. It
may not be telling us Vishnu, it will tell us Ishvara. Who is Ishvara?
Now the Tamasic people, they will consider Ishvara to be
Shiva. So that's how the interpretation changes. So some place it will be told as Ishvara. Ishvara is like without proper identity. Whoever is Ishvara, they are the Ishvara.
Have you actually comparative analysis of the Srishti Leela from different planets?
Do na? Who is stopping?
If you would have done.
No. What is my book name? Bhagavad का ये उसके पहला book Bhagavad Cosmology. No one had ever named as the Bhagavad Cosmology. They name generally Puranic cosmology or Vedic cosmology. They're the traditionally widely popular names. But I'm a crazy person. I put Bhagavad Cosmology. Because basically we are catering to category taking from the point of view Bhagavatam. And
but when you try to synthesize all the other Puranas, because that is not denied.
Not denied. See,
even we also, Prabhupada writings or Acharya's writings are also synthesized from different Puranas.
Yes, true. You need to have two different things. First thing, you need to hear all the other Puranas also. You don't get it everything just by reading. You need to hear first of all. Bhakti does not mean reading. Bhakti means Shravanam. Hearing should be there. So hearing is not possible for us. It can be possible if we extend.
Do we have scholars
here from Sri Vaishnava Acharyas, who is stopping you?
For other Puranas, Sri Vaishnava scholars.
Here. So one point is about this thing. Second point is about we need to have commentaries, books, especially in English language. We don't have Bhagavatam because of Prabhupada we have English Bhagavatam, and because of the Prabhupada disciples they translated, like Bhanu Maharaj translated Acharya commentaries of Acharyas. So we have wide range of commentaries in English, but other Puranas we may not have so much. So how will you read? So even if you want to read here from them, they might be speaking in Tamil, they might be speaking in other languages. So scope is less. तेलुगु में है और सुकुमार कृष्ण को सुनते हैं कभी कभी कितने both of them they hear from Appalacharya. They keep hearing from their commentaries Bhagavatam and
But Appalacharya has only 4 there's given lectures in only 4. Other things are also.
I don't know, I never heard. इतना प्रश्न पूछते हैं
शिष्य और गुरु के जैसे
सोमृतस्याभ्यासेशो मृत्युम् अन्नं यद् अत्यगात् महिमैसा ततो ब्रह्मन् पुरुषस्य दुरत्यया.
Oh Brahmana, he is the Lord of spiritual bliss beyond material existence because he surpasses material happiness. The power of the Supreme Lord is unlimited.
So in one sense, Adhyatishta Dashangulam वो वर्ष है ना, उसका ही explanation चल रहा है. So he is situated beyond the, he extends universe by 10 fingers. मतलब extending करके क्या कहाँ जा रहे हैं? spiritual world में रहेगा. Eternally situated outside the universe as Karmadakshya Vishnu are in the Mahavaikuntha spiritual world, etc., etc. So from that point of view, the connection goes. Later on, from the next verse also, there are many verses we'll be talking about that also. So, O Brahmana, he is the Lord of the spiritual bliss. The Lord of the spiritual bliss means the Lord of the spiritual world also. Okay, where do you get the spiritual bliss? So he must be there in the spiritual world. And he exists beyond the material existence. He is there in the spiritual world. Of course, from the current context, we are only talking about Karmadakshya Vishnu. He is existing in the Karna ocean. Because he surpasses material happiness. Why? He is the Lord of the spiritual bliss and existing spiritual existence. Because he is the surpasses the material existence and material happiness also. Though he comes to material world, he does not enjoy here. When he comes here, what does he do? Who is coming here? Garbhodaksha Vishnu is coming here. Karnadaksha Vishnu coming here as Garbhodaksha Vishnu, and even he is expanding as Kshodaksha Vishnu, but what they are doing? As long as they are in the universe.
They are maintaining.
Sleeping, Baba, not maintaining. They are Yoga Nidra. Because they are not interested in this world. They are not interested in the enjoyment or happiness of this world. Jiva comes here to enjoy. Lord comes here to so this is another reference for you, because he is getting enjoyment in the spiritual bliss, not in the material bliss. So from the material point of view, he is in sleeping.
Is it figurative language or is it as it is language? We may not be able to decide.
It is my commentary. The Supreme Lord is the Lord of all bliss, the enjoyer and the giver of enjoyment. The nectar of Swarga is excluded from the meaning by saying that the Amrita is devoid of fear of samsara, abhayasya. So, ikkada undi kada, abhayesho, Amrita yesho and abhayesho is the Lord of the Amrita, is the Lord of the fearlessness. And Amrita and fearlessness only can exist in the spiritual world. And this Amrita is not the nectar of heaven. This Amrita is indicating the eternality of the spiritual world. So in that way.
So this is the same verse which Balaram Shakti Prabhu was saying.
I don't know. I did not attend the class. I was here only listening to the class. He must have spoke about it, but I was doing something else parallelly. I lost. Did he give presentations?
No, he was doing presentations.
Did he give presentation? Did he give the brahmacharis the slides? Then you can check in the slides. Why is he the Lord of Amrita? Because he surpasses the material happiness which ends in death. Whatever happiness that is there in the material world, Aparma Bhuna Loka, what do you mean by Puna Ravartino? One dies, one die. Ultimately, one die. Whether one may go to Ramaloka also, eventually one day one will die. Death is the end of all one's enjoyment. Whatever one's enjoyment is going on. So in that way. So Lord surpasses the material happiness which ends in death. In partaking of Amrita, there is no chewing the chewed. In the material world, everything is chewing the chewed. In the spiritual world, everything is new, ever new. If he sometimes choose it, then he does so without attachment. So this is like avatars. Even though when the avatars come, when they perform mental activities, he does it everything, but he does not do it with attachment. What is the shloka from Bhagavad Gita chapter 3 or chapter 4? This is shloka number 13 or 14, chapter 4. A book called as Bhagavad Gita. There is a chapter called as 4, titled as Jnana Yoga. With respect to the chewing the chewed. Namang karmani limpanti name karma swalasubha. Itiyo mam abhijanati yavanyas chavantite. Namang karmani limpanti, no work binds me. Why no work binds, Lord? Name karma phalaspuha. While performing the activities, I will never think of karma phala. Lord performs all the activities. As Lord Rama, as Lord Krishna, what all the activities did not perform? Every activity one can conceive. He performed all the activities. But how did he perform? Name karma phalaspuha. Itimam yobi janati. He who knows me. He knows me of this particular quality of mine. Tatvenatas chavantita. He will never fall down. That means he who knows this particular aspect of mine, the knower will also follow in my footsteps.
There, Shavanti matlab falling down.
That's what I'm trying to explain. One who knows that how to perform the activities, that how Lord performs activities, then that person will follow that. Whoever follows that will never take birth again in this material world. He will again go, he will immediately go back to God. Simple. This is the formula back to God. Huh?
Not expect anything.
Not like that. It is not, do not expect. You should expect everything to come. While performing the activity, you should expect all the results, but do not become attached to the results. Not expecting the results is foolishness. Name karma phala spruha. Don't make plans to enjoy the results. How to enjoy the results? Results are going to come tomorrow. Let me enjoy this. That. Not like that. Perform the duties 100%. Pakka. Giving your full energy. But not with the mentality to enjoy the results. So last week we were discussing about Karma Yoga in our congregation program. I was talking about Karma Yoga. Giving one example. The parents invest a lot of hard work, lot of money, lot of time in the education of the students. When the son comes out with flying colors and there are the graduation ceremony, if the topper of the university will be awarded what's that? Gold medal. What the parents will say?
I don't know what your parents said.
I never told my parents. So what the parents will say generally? See, I'm asking casual question. You answer casually. Don't jokes. No jokes. What the parents will say? Normal parents in the outside society, what they will say? When their son gets gold medal at the topper of the university, what they will say? Huh?
Very good. Congratulations. And get a job.
They call all the relatives, they perform a function. See, my son, mera son got gold medal. See my son is the topper of the university.
WhatsApp पे डालेंगे.
WhatsApp छोड़ दो फिर भी. So they will inform everyone that my son had achieved this. My son is the topper of the university. My son is the top of the university. The same thing happens to the neighbor's son. What they will do? They will not do anything. They may say, congratulations. Why they are doing everything when their son achieved it?
They are attached to the result.
Because they want
Because-
to enjoy the
Because they invested everything. So they want to experience the results of that. They are feeling happy on that. But Name karma phala, and this goes opposite. Who will say? Which parents will say that it is according to his karma? He worked hard. He deserves it. It is all according to his karma. Even though I have not provided proper facilities, but still he worked hard and he got it. So we have not done anything. Somebody comes to glorify the parents. See, your son achieved this. Which parents will say that? It is according to his karma only. He deserves it. He works hard. He worked hard. Even though we have not provided any facilities, he worked hard and he got it. Like that, which parents will say? How many parents will say like that?
I think is opposite. The children are not grateful, and the parents are also actually are exploited. So everything is happening. Parents want to exploit the results of their children, and at the same time, children also are not grateful for what their parents are. Both are not grateful.
But that is the philosophy. If we are in that mood, that is Tatve Natas Chavantite. One will not fall down again. One who understands Tattva properly. Itiyo, what was that verse? What was the verse? उसके पहला लाइन नमाम कर्माणि लिम्पन्ति नमे कर्म फल स्पृहा इतियो माम जानाति तत्वे नाताश्चवन्ति तत्वेन इतियो माम जानाति तत्वेन. These are one line. Na chavanti is another line. Tatvena, one should know the Lord, not superficially. Then again here, if he sometimes choose it, then he does so without attachment. That means, even though whenever Lord appears in the form of avatas, he performs the activities. Choose it means performing the activities. Chewing the chewed means experiencing the results. Second part, he does not. He is not attached to the results. So in that way. Thus, as Antaryami, he choose. Ahami sarva yajnanam bhokta cha prabhureva cha. उसके बाद that was the 4th chapter verse. This is 9th chapter verse. This verse also we discussed 2 days back. खोल के देखो जल्दी. अहम फोलियो में खोलो जल्दी. अहम ही सर्व यज्ञानां भोक्ता च प्रभुरेव च. I am the enjoyer and the master of all sacrifices. Though he is sometimes designated as the enjoyer, he surpasses material enjoyment. Ekastayo. Okay. पूरा वर्ष पढ़ो. Natuma abhijanati. Those who does not know me like this,
actually,
they will fall down.
One who actually knows me.
One who knows me, they will not fall down. Thereby not knowing me like this, they will fall down. So, in that way. Ekastayo kadanti pippalanam anyo nirannopi balena bhuyam. One of the two birds eats the fruit on the pippala tree, and the other bird, though he does not eat, remains strong. This verse also comes in the Bhagavad Gita commentary. Two birds on the same tree, one bird is eating the fruits, one of the other bird is simply waiting for the other bird to, first bird to turn around him. Bhagavad Gita commentary, Prabhupada quotes. This is from Upanishad. But this verse is from 11.11.6. Niranna means that he is not attached at all to material enjoyment. So that Lord is not at all attached to material enjoyment. This verse explains the Prasukta verse. Utamrutattvaseshano yad anenati rohati. He is the master of Amruta who surpasses material enjoyment. Amrutasya means same as Amrutasya. Anana means annam, according to the rule that another case ending can substitute for the accusative ending with some grammar is there. Atirohiti means Attekramad. The reason is given. The glory of the Supreme Lord is unlimited. Duratyaya. No one can cross. No one can achieve it. This explains the meaning of the Purusha Sukta line. Etavan asya mahimato jayams cha purusha. Such are the powers of the Supreme Person. He is not just the Lord of the material world, but is also Lord of the spiritual bliss. Garbhodakshaya Vishnu is the Lord of the material world, but he is not just the Lord of the material world, but he is also the Lord of the spiritual world, where he continues to experience the spiritual bliss. So in that way. Now, Eka-pada Vibhuti, Tripada Vibhuti. So the same Lord is there in the spiritual world also, the same Lord is there in the material world also. Garbhodakshaya Vishnu in the material world, Karmadakshaya Vishnu in the spiritual world. So what is the so you are telling that the material world enjoyment ends with the end, death. Spiritual world it continues, it is Amruta. And material world there is fear. Spiritual world there is no fear. So can you please tell me in detail what is the difference between material world and spiritual world? So material world is called as Eka-pada Vibhuti and spiritual world is called Tripada Vibhuti. And 1922, 19, 20, 21, 24 verses give the comparison between material world and the spiritual world. Padeshu sarva bhutani pumsha stitipado vidhu amrutam kshemam vayam trimurdno adhyaya murdashu.
Wise know that the living beings are situated within the portions designated by the Lord, whose feet protect all places. Eternity, absence of sickness, and absence of fear of committing offense are fixed in the spiritual world, situated above the three gunas.
So Padeshu Traya, three murdno. Here three is there, na? Three here, Padeshu here. In three pada, the spiritual world is situated. Okay, where the spiritual world is located? Murdno Adyayi Murdashu. It is situated above the three gunas of the material world. The spiritual world is located. Murdashu means above. The head is called also Murda. The spiritual world of three pada Vibhuti is located above the material world, consisting of the three modes of material nature. So like that, it is continuing. And what is the speciality of the the spiritual world of three pada Vibhuti? So Amrutam, Kshemam, Abhayam. These are the qualities of the spiritual world. The wise know that the living beings are situated within the portions designated by the Lord, whose feet protect all places. So basically, the Lord is protecting both the material world also spiritual world also. Everything is under the shelter only. But among them, something called the spiritual world, which is known as Tripad Vibhuti, which is situated above the three modes of material nature, wherein eternity, absence of sickness, and absence of fear of committing offense are fixed in the spiritual world, which is situated above the three gunas. Two verses describe the material and spiritual vibhutis. The wise know that all living beings, whether conditioned or liberated, reside within either the material or the spiritual portions of the Lord, whose feet act as the protector of all planets. All the living entities, either they stay in the spiritual world or they stay in the material world, according to their likes and dislikes. In the places in the spiritual sky, situated above the topmost place of the three gunas, above the covering of the universe, three murdashu, there is no death, there is no sickness, and there is no fear arising from offenses to the Lord among the persons there. These are the different qualities of the spiritual world. There is no death. That means there is no birth also, rebirth also. There is no sickness. And there is no sickness, means there is also no old age. No old age. Janmrutu Jaravad Visena, four are not there. And there is no fear of offense to the Lord. Because their service is going on always. Who will offend the Lord? Absence of fear from time is already covered in the word Amrutam. Here we are afraid of time. Every birthday we are worried. Hey, 1 year is gone, 1 year is gone, 1 year is gone. Are we worried?
No, I'm thinking when you said that, probably I should really worry. Now I never.
Actually, the purpose of reminder that today is your birthday should actually create worry. That is the real thing of remembering the birthday. 1 year is passed without doing any bhakti. Let me become serious now. That is the real resolution of birthday, a real resolution of the new year. Every new year we should make it 1 year passed without doing anything. Now at least we think that 2 years passed in lockdown without doing anything. दोनों डोसा ऐसे निकल गया ना लॉकडाउन में, अंदर अंदर बैठे बैठे दो साल चले गए. So like that we should think. That is the real birthday gift for oneself. One can give oneself. Okay. Absence of fear from time is already covered in the word Amrutam. That's why the Leela which goes in the spiritual is called as Nitya Leela. It is going on eternally. There is no fear of time. आजकल परसों का चिंता नहीं रहता उधर, जन्म मृत्यु का भी चिंता नहीं रहता. But here we are worried about always. This is established there. In the place of the three gunas, death is there, sickness is there, and fear of offense are well established. ये सब है, ये सब के बारे में चिंता है हमेशा here. Here fear of offense is not just offense only, the fear of committing sin also. Sin. Here we have the problem of committing sin. Many times we don't know what is dharma, what is adharma also. But in the spiritual world, that kind of confusion is not there. They know. Anyway, they don't have much chance, much freedom to do other things also. The Nitya Leela is going on, Nitya Seva is going on. So इधर उधर जाने की जरूरत नहीं. One should understand that the material world is temporary and the spiritual world is eternal. The spiritual world will be described later. Nacha kala vikrama nayatra maya. This verse comes in the 9th chapter. What is the specialty of the spiritual world? Nacha kala vikrama. Nacha maya vikrama. Like that you can take. Kala vikrama means there is no influence of kala. And nacha maya vikrama means there will be no influence of maya. Neither kala influence one in the spiritual world nor maya influence in the spiritual world. But these two will have effect in the material world. How? What is the effect? The effect of kala is 6 kind of transformation that we go through while living in a particular body. We take birth, we grow, give byproducts, stay for some time, dwindle, die. These 6 transformations are the effect of time. After death, we enter into different body, different species, and then another species, then another species. That is the effect of maya. That is the effect of karma. Due to effect of our karma, we enter into different species. That is seen as the effect of maya. The effect of kala is while living in one particular body, we go through 6 transformations. The effect of maya is after leaving that body, we enter into many different variety of bodies. That is the effect of maya or karma. This verse explains the spiritual phrase. Padosya Vishwabhutani Tri Padasyamrutam Divi. Pado Asya, out of the 4 padas of that Supreme Lord, Vishwabhutani, all the living entities are situated. Out of that, 3 Padasya Amrutam Divi. 3 padas are considered to be eternal and they are spiritual. Okay. The living entities of the universe are 1/4, and in the spiritual world of 3 parts, everything is eternal. So Pado also can be seen as 1 part. So 1 part of the 4 parts is the living entities of the material world, and 3 parts spiritual. Padosya, the place and the living entities are linked with a couple verb, a Kapula verb, because of non-difference between the place and the person residing there. So basically, Padosya refers to the place of the material world where living entities who are going through cycle of transformation residing. Pada means 1/4. Asya means of the Lord.
There is no difference between the
Place and people. See, when you say Hyderabad, what do you mean by Hyderabad? Means what? How something becomes famous when people are there only, na? When you say Hyderabad means Hyderabad population. When you say Mumbai means Mumbai population. If there are no people in Mumbai, what do you will get in Mumbai? Nothing. Only when people are there, there will be home, there will be roads, there will be bridges, there will be gardens, all these things will be there. Only people are there. People ke bina kuch fayda nahi. When you say Bhuloka, Bhuloka means what? Where residents are residing. That way, both are taken as together. The place and living entities are taken together. They are told always together. So in that way. When you say Brahmaloka, Brahmaloka means Lord Brahma also said to be. Brahma is there in the Brahma Loka, like that. Everyone is included in that. Tripadasya is in the singular to express the whole. In the spiritual place, there is eternity situated in its place of three Vibhutis. So one pada refers to one pada connected to material world. Tripada refers to spiritual world. Padasya Vishwabhutani Tripadasya Amrutam Dhivi. All jivas are situated either in the spiritual and in the material worlds. Spiritual world is characterized by the qualities of eternity, absence of sickness, and absence of fear of committing sin. Then what is the qualities of the material world? We'll get in the next verse. Padastrayo bahischasan aprajanam ya ashrama antastrilokastu aparo gruhamedo bruhatvrata.
Beyond the material realm lies the spiritual realm, with the abodes of the liberated souls. In the material realm of the three gunas, the materialists reward of bhakti to the Lord described.
Padastrayo bahischasan aprajanam ya ashrama. Beyond the material realm lies the spiritual realm. Padastrayo, the three-pad vibhuti situated above material world, with the abodes of the liberated souls. Aprajanam ya ashrama. Praja means those who take birth. Praja means those who take birth. Aprajana means those who don't take birth. So in that way. Aprajanam ya ashrame, with the abodes of the liberated souls. In the material world, we have 4 ashramas. People somehow or other connected to one of the 4 ashramas. So in the spiritual world, there are people who are liberated souls. In the material realm of the 3 gunas,
There won't be any ashrama, or there won't be any special significance which is being given for the.
no, it's not like that. Here in the material world, Prajanam ya ashrama. There are living entities who will be taking birth after birth, and they will be designated by their ashrama. The designations are due to ashrama. In the spiritual world, is nitil na. Unka ashram ka change nahi hota. If somebody is father, father only, eternally. Somebody is mother, mother only, eternally. Unka ashram ka idhar udhar kuch hai nahi. Here ashrama is indication only about abode. Ashrama in one sense it is indication of abode. So this is Brahmana's colony. This is Kshatriya's colony. This is Shudra's colony. This is Vaishya's colony. That is the area. Colony means area. It is abode. Ashrama means different living entities in different ashramas. When you say Brahmana colony, you can realize it because Brahmanas are staying together. But ashrama means okay. The living entities who go through cycle of birth and death, but they are in 4 ashramas. Some of them are brahmacharis, some of them are grihasthas, vanapasas, sannyasas. So like that, the designations are in the material world. So in that way. But the spiritual world, aprajanam, they don't go through the repeated cycle of birth and death. And ashram ke bare mein, whether ashrams rahega, nahi rahega, mujhe pata nahi. But like that, my understanding of ashrama is, it is the abode. It is taken as abode. The place where they stay. So in that way. They stay in 4 ashramas. In the material world, people stay in the 4 locations. Some of the living entities are brahmanas, sorry, brahmacharis. Some of them are grihasthas, some of them are vanapasas, and some of the. So in that way.
So varnashram is a system which is created for the
Material world only, not for the spiritual world. Udhar jarut nahi na. And that is that too mainly in the Bharata Varsha. The ashrama system is also mainly, predominantly in the Bharata Varsha. Other places it is not so much.
They come actually lesser than the varnashram, beyond the varnashram. Like as it in
They are all there in the Bhuloka only. They are not there in the upper planets. For example, Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Satraloka, there is no requirement of Kshatriyas only. Everyone is sadhus only.
Swarga, there is
All the devatas are Kshatriyas. That is management, na? They are Brahmanas. That's what. In the upper 4, there is no requirement of Kshatriyas. Then when you come to Swargaloka, all the main devatas are like Kshatriyas. All the sages are like the Brahmanas.
Even in that there will be some Shudras also. They
Where?
Apsaras and the performers who are actually giving performance to before.
No,
Indra.
they are all Devata category only.
But they will not be considered Shudra.
Not required, no need to consider. They are much better than them. They are
In
much
terms
better.
of qualities, yeah.
It's so, see, this is a problem. We have something, we want to put this thing only everywhere.
No, I'm asking.
No, that's what, we don't have to compare like that because they don't fit in the designation. Because we can, comparison also can happen to some extent because all the great sages can be compared to Brahmanas because somewhat similar to occupation. And the Devatas are doing management, so we can say them as Kshatriyas. That's okay. But Vaishya Shudras, we may not be able to compare. That category would not exist in the spiritual world. Sorry, in the Devatas, in the heaven and all. Whom you say Vaishyas? They don't have to take care of the cultivation and cows. So then they're in Shudras and all, we can say.
There's
Of
no
course.
farming or nothing like that in Swarga.
Not required. Their food is nectar only, Amruta only. Amrut ke liye kya chahiye? You do yajna, that will give them nectar. If you don't do yajna, they'll starve. Obviously. That's why Hiranyakashipu, Ravana and all, they wanted to destroy all the yajnas. So that the Devatas will starve. Otherwise, they will become powerful, strong and stout. They will fight and win. The first thing they attack on the Brahmanical culture. If the yajnas are not performed or Vedic study and Vedic rituals are not going on, Devatas will starve, obviously. That's how the demonic power will come into action.
So currently in Kali Yuga, the demonic power, rising of the demonic power is because of
the Vedic rituals are not performed properly. Still, Vedic rituals are going, that's why some goodness is prevailing here and there. Eventually, when this also becomes less and less, then demonic power increase more and more. Here also, there also, both the places. This verse explains the previous verse. Beyond the coverings of Prakriti, described by the word Trimurda, top of the three gunas, exists the spiritual world, described as three parts, Trayopada. The word Cha after Bahi indicates that sometimes that the three parts exist within the material world in places like Madura also. Sometimes the spiritual world also manifests within the material world in some places such as Madura, Ayodhya, etc., where Lord performs pastimes. During those days when Lord is performing pastimes, the spiritual world manifests as it is in the material world. Later on again it will unmanifest after the departure of the Lord. Here are the places of those who do not take birth at all. Aprajana means here are the places. Ashrama is connected to the places of those who do not take birth at all. Those liberated from samsara. The places and the inhabitants are eternal, since the previous verse said that the place was without death and sickness. Amrutam, Abhayam, Shemam. But within Prakriti, made of the worlds of three gunas, there exists the fourth, the material world. Within Prakriti, made of the worlds of three gunas, exists the fourth part, where the karmis live, without being devotees of the Lord. Abruhat Vrata. Bruhat Vrata means Visena Bruhat Mridanga. What do you mean by Bruhat Mridanga? Big. And Bruhat Vrata means that Vrata which takes one back to Godhead. By the practice of Nishtama Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga, one can go beyond the material existence, but not by Sakama Karma. Sakama Karma is as a result of which they can go maximum up to Sargaloka and come back. They don't go beyond that. So, where karmis live, the material world is meant for karmis, without being devoted to the Lord. Abruhat Varda indicates bhakti, along with Nishkama Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, and etc. But if they become devotees, then they exist in the other three parts. If the living unit is in the one part, if they take shelter of Bruhat Vrata, that is bhakti, they will go to Tripad Vibhuti. Otherwise, they will remain in the Eka-pada Vibhuti. This verse explains the Purushukta line. Tripad Urdhva Udait Purushapado Sheshabhya Sheshabha Vat. Puna. The 3/4 portion of the Lord transcended the material portions. The Lord in the 1/4 portion manifested the universe again, as he done repeatedly before. The Tripad Vibhuti remains eternally as it is, but the Eka-pada Vibhuti is created again and again. That is the nature of the Eka-pada Vibhuti. Someone can read this translation. This is about the spiritual world.
The spiritual worlds.
Louder.
The spiritual worlds are unlimited in number. They are all Shuddha Sattva, filled with spiritual bliss, eternal, without change, and devoid of low passions. They are pure gold, shining like millions of suns, personifying Vedic knowledge, filled with pastimes and devoid of lust and anger. These places exclusively serve the lotus feet of Narayana and are always blissfully singing verses. They are the essence of the Vedas, embodying the 5 Upanishads.
Okay. This is some description about the spiritual world.
Why the word low passions is used instead of no passion?
I don't know. Is the translation of that verse?
Or
The word of
embodying
low passions.
and also in the last line, embodying the 5 Upanishads. So
And devoid of low passions. Low passions means mode of passion and ignorance. It is devoid of mode of passion and ignorance. It is full of Shuddha Sattva. It is devoid of low passions, not low passions. Low passions means the lower category of mode of passion and ignorance. It's like that.
Sattva also should be included.
That is our Shuddha Sattva. It's already mentioned. No? Shuddha Sattva without any trace of passion and ignorance. That's how you should understand.
And in the last line, they are the essence of the Vedas, embodying the 5 Upanishads. What are those 5 Upanishads which actually conveys the essence of the Vedas?
You ask him, he will tell you.
He means Karma.
Smriti, that Smriti scripture. He means that scripture from where these verses are quoted. You ask him, he will tell you. Here, Tripad Vibhuti means the spiritual world, and Pada Vibhuti means the material world. The Sandarbha quotes Padma Purana in this regard. Again, read.
The spiritual world is spread over the 3 parts. One part is this world. The 3 parts spiritual world is eternal. The power of one part is temporary. The eternal form of the Supreme Lord is situated in that glorious place. That form of the Lord is undecaying, eternal, full of pastimes, eternally young, eternally enjoying and surrounded by Shri, Bhu and Ishwari.
Sri Devi, Bhudevi and Ishwari means. Oh, with the third one, Ila Devi. Is there? Okay. Sri Devi is there, Bhudevi is there. Sri Ranganath Swami ka 13 deities is there. Neela Devi. This is na? Sri Devi, Bhudevi, Neela Devi. So Ishwari could be like Neela Devi. While liberated souls reside in the spiritual realm, the material world is occupied by the materialists devoid of bhakti. Find out and tell me tomorrow. Huh? Anyone? Other one. See, we always, for Balaji, we have two concerts. Lakshmi Devi is there and also Padmavati is there. And also Mother Earth is also said to be another concert of Supreme Lord. Sri Devi is Lakshmi Devi, Bhudevi is Bhudevi, Neela Devi is like Padmavati Devi, another concept of the Lord. Who is also another concept, na? The Lord will have unlimited concerts, Baba. उसमें 3 का नाम दिया, चले का जो भी है. एक महालक्ष्मी, हाँ? एक भूदेवी, and in between there is Neela Devi. That is Padmavati. Stri vichakrame vishwan shasananasane ube Yada vidya cha purushastu bhayashraya.
The jiva, qualified by ignorance and knowledge, wanders on two paths for attaining enjoyment and liberation. The Lord is the shelter of both paths.
So this is important verse. It will be there for your exam. It may not be there in the question bank, but you need to include this. This is one of the important words I also quote in my cosmology presentation. Stri vichakrame vishwan shasananasane ube. Yada vidya cha purushastu bhayashraya. How does the jiva in the material world can go to spiritual world? That is indicated in this verse. The jiva, qualified by avidya and vidya, wanders on two paths. For what purpose? He wanders on the path of avidya for attaining enjoyment, and he wanders on path of vidya for attaining liberation. The Lord is the shelter of both the paths. Purushastu ubhayatraya. The jiva attains these two places by specific qualities. He who wanders in the universe is called Vishwan, the jiva. The jiva wanders on these two paths. These paths are followed to enjoyment and attain and liberation. Shasana, anasane. The qualifications are mentioned. What is Shasana? Shasana is nothing but the pravrutti marga. Shasan bolte na? What do we call that? Constitution. What is there in the constitution? Set of rules and regulations which are supposed to be followed by all the citizens and all the leaders of the entire country, so that country can remain in harmony. Shasana means basically some rules and regulations. So Vedas prescribe so many rules and regulations in order to fulfill the desires of the jiva in a bona fide way. By following the rules and regulations of the Vedas, they can go to Swarga also, enjoy there in a bona fide way and come back. Again enjoy here, again perform rituals, go to heaven and again come back. That is called Shasana. Shasana is Pravrutti Marga. It is Vedic authorized bona fide way of enjoyment. This Shasana will not take one to Naraka. It will take to Pitraloka or Sargaloka only. It is a bona fide way of enjoying. They are not doing any mistake. They are not doing any sin. It is Vedic way of performing all the rituals. No issues.
Pitraloka is a place for enjoyment.
And Anasane means that is going beyond the rules and regulations of the material world. This is the path of Nivrutti Marga. This path will take one back to Godhead. And Pravrutti Marga is Sakama Karma. Nivrutti Marga is Nishkama Karma, Jnana Yoga, Nishkama Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. All these are coming in the category of Nivrutti Marga.
Karma Yoga,
Nishkama Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. These are all coming in Nivrutti Marga. Sakama Karma is the Pravrutti Marga. Sakama Karma Yoga gives higher enjoyment and keeps on the material world. Nivrutti Marga takes on beyond this material world. So,
in present context, no one is doing even Sakam Karma according to the Vedas.
Vikarma is only happening. Majority Vikarma. And very few Sakam Karma. Like fortunate souls who are born in the aristocratic families, Brahmanical families, some Vaishya families.
And many of the pilgrims visit
To some extent, they do Sakama Karma. If they know properly how to do, they will do it. He who has avidya attains the material realm, and you who has vidya attain the spiritual world. However, the spiritual world is actually attained by accepting bhakti after giving up vidya also. Bhaktyaham ekaya grahya. I am only attained by bhakti. The Supreme Lord, however, is the shelter of both the paths. He is the shelter of Maya, who has functions of avidya and vidya. Thus, the two paths are dependent on the Supreme Lord. This verse describes the Purushasukta line. Tato Vishwam Vyakramat Shasananasane Ube. The Jiva traverses the two paths of enjoyment and the liberation. Ignorant wander on the path of enjoyment, known as Pravrutti Marga. which is the function of avidya. The knowledgeable wanders in the path of liberation, known as nivritti marga. It is called as vidya. The Lord is the shelter of both paths. Both are working under the supervision of the Lord only.
Why that statement is made? However, the spiritual world is actually attained by accepting bhakti after giving up vidya also. In that context, the vidya actually refers to nishkama, gnana, and yoga.
Also bhakti. You tell me, you are scholars of Bhagavad Gita. Vidyapit nahi. Bhakti Shastri khatam ho gaya.
Here,
Bhakti
the spiritual
Satri.
world is actually attained by accepting bhakti after giving up vidya also. If vidya is again said as bhakti, then it will contradict the earlier part of this.
That is Mishra Bhakti. Here the Bhakti mentioned here, that is Ananya Bhakti. Ananya Bhakti is without any mixture of karma, jnana, yoga. The Bhakti indicated part of Vidya is Mishra Bhakti.
But
That Bhakti
earlier
with
we
little
have
bit karma,
understood
jnana.
even the spiritual world will be attained by the Mishra Bhaktas also.
But at one point of time, one need to give up karma, jnana, yoga also. That's why I'm asking you, you people are expert in Bhagavad Gita, you should tell. This is Bhagavad Gita only.
No, the people who actually who accept, who attain Shasti or Salokya, liberation, they may be Mishra Bhaktas and they are
here it is.
attaining this
Here the
Mishra
line is not saying that one should not follow karma, jnana, yoga.
No, here that
Hare Krishna Ji.
What's this class going on?
Bhakti
This
Vaibhava
class is about Bhakti Vaibhava for these two new. Last week there was only 1%, Roji. 1% was attending online.
Whoever is attending such personal time, my God. You can ask any question anytime. How long the class continues?
2 hours.
2 hours every day?
Every day.
Wow.
5 days in a week.
I can join sometime and come and sit. Just like casually, just to hear sometime if I want. Oh, really? I'm asking, it's okay, right? If I want to just come and sit and listen.
We'll be grateful.
No, just asking, I don't want to interfere.
We'll be happy to have your association.
Come one of the days I'll come.
Okay, I'll tell you. You have understood Sakama Karma, what it gives? You go to Swarga, come back. Go to Swarga, come back. Tetam Bhukta Punilokam, Tetam Bhukta Sargalokam Vishalam, Shine Punye, Martilokam, Vishanti. Yei Traidame Maru Prapanna, Gata Gatam Kama Kama, Labante. That is about Sakama Karma. A Grihastha is qualified to practice Nishkama Karma Yoga. He's supposed to practice. By practicing Nishkama Karma Yoga, the Grihastha will be freed of all the material desires. Then, at the right age, he gives up Nishkama Karma Yoga. Yoga means Bhakti. That means Nishkama Karma Yoga means Bhakti Mishra Karma. They are basically performing karma as per their Varna duties, but they have Bhakti also as part of it. Without Bhakti, the yoga word will not include. Without Bhakti, it is called as Nishkama Karma only. If there is some Bhakti, it is called Nishkama Karma Yoga. Then, at a proper age, giving responsibility to the next generation, they will take renunciation, either Vanaprastha or Sannyas order. Then they are qualified to practice Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga, that means Bhakti Mishra Jnana. Then by the practice of Jnana, they come to Brahmabhuta platform. They are completely detached from this material world. They are simply waiting for liberation. But here they have two opportunities. Either they can wait for natural death or they can take shelter of Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga Yoga means Bhakti Mishra Yoga, where meditating on Paramatma and all that, as we discussed. By practicing Ashtanga Yoga, they can give up the body immediately. They can enter into Sahajya Mukti. Generally, these people want Sahajya Mukti only. But here comes the trick. By the practice of Jnana, they come to Brahmabhuta platform.
Yoga, generally they actually want Sahajya Mukti.
Generally, these people who are following this traditional yoga process, they always want Sahajya Mukti only. Generally, they want Sahajya Mukti. Some by good fortune, they may want Sarishti or Salokya, where entering into Vaikuntha but not direct service to Supreme Lord. They are not so much inclined to service. That's why they want Sahajya. They are not averse to service, but they are not inclined to service. So
the happiness that they experience in Brahman would be the same in Vaikuntha.
It may be different also, it may be little same also. It's okay. Because you don't want to serve, you want to be neutral. For example, there is a paraya is going to happen in the temple. There is the opportunity given. You can select a department, you can do seva, or you can remain peaceful by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra also. Some people select service because they cannot continue to chant throughout the day. Some people are quite happy with chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra only. They don't want any seva. So like that, something like that. Okay, are you getting?
In this case, both are serving only.
See, that is a problem. I'm just giving an example. Don't take it. Don't take the example 100%. Stretch it. Don't too much. I'm giving importance to service. Not that I'm reducing Harinam Sankirtan. Don't take it from the absolute bhakti point of view. I'm giving an example. From the point of view of seva,
Not an active service.
not an active service. No? So in that way. So by entering into Salukya Sarishti or Brahman, they're not involving in service. They're meditating on the pastimes of the Lord. They want to just simply sit and quiet and do meditation. Okay, now what is the problem?
Yes.
So like that. So Bhagavad Gita clearly says, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma Na Sochati Na Kankshati Samas Sarveshu Bhuteshu. These are the qualities of a jnani who had come to the platform of Brahma Bhuta platform. Or these are the qualities of a yogi who had come to Samadhi platform. Then what they are supposed to do? They have to give up jnana process. Till then, till the time when they come to this point, there is the topmost point of mode of goodness. Three modes are there in material world. Three modes say. The lowest consciousness is mode of ignorance. Here passion. Enter into passion. Here enter into goodness. They have reached the pinnacle of the mode of goodness. That is Brahmabhuta platform or Samadhi platform. From Jnana, Brahmabhuta platform. From Yoga, Samadhi platform. Where they will realize that they are Atma and they have nothing to do with body. The final result one obtains by the practice of Jnana Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga is they will have self-realization. They will realize who they are. They are not only theoretically, they are practically realize. Now I am not the body anymore. Now I am completely spiritual soul. That realization they get. Okay? That's when they experience Prasannatma. Nasochati na kankshati. Samas sarveshu bhuteshu. Then only they'll experience this. Till then they don't experience. And then Mad Bhaktin Lavate Param. By giving up jnana, by giving up yoga. Now they have come to the pinnacle of mode of goodness. Jnana, yoga, they all come within the modes only. They don't go beyond that. They don't exist beyond the modes. Beyond the modes, only one thing exists. That is Bhakti. Now they have climbed under the pinnacle of mode of goodness, they jump. Then they only have Bhakti. Whatever Bhakti was accompanying Nishkama Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga till now, they are wearing that Bhakti alone. They jump into the transcendence, Turiya mode. Then they practice Bhakti. By practicing Bhakti, what will happen? Bhaktya Mam Abhijanati. Then what? Then what? Ruko. Bhaktya Mam Abhijanati. By taking shelter of that Bhakti. No, there is no karma, there is no jnana, there is no yoga. Now they are in the transcendental mode. Only Bhakti is accompanying them. By practicing that Bhakti, Bhaktya Mam Abhijanati. They will know me completely. Janati means to know. Abhijanati means completely. Bhaktya Mam Abhijanati. Yavan Yas Chasmi Tatvataha. To the extent my Tattva exists, to the extent they will understand me. What they will understand? The Jnanis and Yogis, if they want to know me as Brahman, they will get Tat knowledge. If they want to know me as Bhagavan, Mam knowledge will get Tato Mam Tatvato Jnatva. They will know me either my feature as Brahman or my feature as Bhagavan. Then Vishate Tadanantaram. Those who know me in my Brahman feature, they enter into Brahman. Those who know me in my Bhagavan feature, they enter into Vaikuntha. Salokya or Sarishti. Okay. It's even for devotees, while they are living in the material world, as a grihastha, they need to practice karma mishra bhakti. Whatever grihastha dharma that we are rendering, that is actually karma. All the grihastha dharmas are part of karma, they are not part of bhakti. Bhakti means Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. The 9 angas is bhakti. But are we doing only 9 things, or we are also doing something else? Either brahmacharis or grahasthas. We are doing other household duties also, na? They are all part of karma. So we and all the congregation devotees are performing karma mishra bhakti. But at one point of time, we take renunciation, or even without renunciation also, we take shelter of jnana also. We try to understand the different aspects of Supreme Lord, different aspects of this material world, etc., etc. That is jnana. That becomes jnana mishra bhakti. Some devotees take shelter of yoga mishra bhakti. Basically, that jnana mishra and yoga mishra will become prominent when we want to enter into vanaprasthar sannyasa ashram. And they also take shelter of ashtanga yoga in order to give up the body. King Prithu, later on you will read in the 4th canto, having gone to vanaprastha order, he will take shelter of ashtanga yoga in order to give up his body and go back to Godhead. Narada Muni also performed meditation, that is also ashtanga yoga. Dhruva also performed meditation, that is also ashtanga yoga, that is called yoga mishra bhakti in that sense.
So, the two bhakti is prominent there.
Bhakti is prominent, but they also take shelter of yoga, just like all of us taking shelter of karma.
Whenever we are in our case, we are actually taking the support of karma because we are not able to always do bhakti 24 hours. So that is why we take shelter of the karma. So it becomes, as we are dependent on that karma, it becomes karma mishra bhakti. So when
in our current condition state, we cannot practice bhakti exclusively. So we need to also perform our other duties as per our varna and ashrama. So that's how it becomes karma mishra bhakti. So when we enter into vanaprastha sannyas, we can say that we are performing no more karma. But then they are not obliged to do household activities. Then it becomes jnana mishra bhakti. And those who want to give up the body immediately, that becomes yoga mishra bhakti. And this mixed bhakti is also part of vidya. Only ananya bhakti is without the part of vidya.
So
that ananya bhakti will give the realization of the Brahman feature or Bhagavan feature. So with that realization, one enters into spiritual world. Whether the traditional yoga processes or the bhakti mixed bhakti process also, at one point of time we have to give up karma, jnana, yoga. Then we to take shelter of ananya bhakti. Then that ananya bhakti alone will give us the realization of Brahman or Bhagavan. Then one enters into Vaikuntha.
Now, understanding the very same concept of the ananya bhakti, so one can actually reach to the ananya bhakti by practicing ananya bhakti also, or one needs to take.
You cannot practice ananya bhakti. That's what I'm saying. Can you practice ananya bhakti today?
Okay. Now, if I have to talk with respect to the context of ISKCON, so one may perform the karma because one is dependent on karma to actually elevate oneself to the platform of bhakti. But if someone actually, what I'll tell openly, because there are many actually who say ki go to Vrindavan and do the bhajan of whatever the Babaji is what they say. So in theoretical sense, that is actually
Ananya
bhakti.
Yes, perfect. I agree.
Okay.
That's what Goswamis did. That's what Goswamis did.
But with respect to one's individual, so I may not have the qualification to do the ananya bhakti, so I am actually dependent on doing the karma. So gradually,
or jnana or yoga, one of the three. According to our position, right now we are brahmachari grahasthas, we are doing karma yoga, karma mishra bhakti.
Jnana means knowledge.
Yeah, that also I want to understand. How do
Jnana means tapasya. Jnana is basically the austerity that one is supposed to go through during vanaprastha sannyasa ashram. The jnana mishra comes in the renounced order. Karma analogus to grahastha ashram. Jnana analogus to vanaprastha sannyasa order.
The sannyasis within ISKCON, if you see, do they actually come under the jnana aspect or karma aspect? Or
see, many principles that we talk here may not be so up. We cannot visualize them in the current context, but traditionally sannyasi stays in a simple setup. In ISKCON condition, since ISKCON is apadharma, chalega abhi facility le lo, but prachar karo.
So in this context, now if I compare the very same thing with respect to Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada is actually doing karma, but he's not dependent on the karma. He's performing bhakti, but he's not actually dependent on the karma to perform bhakti. So
See, you are not getting the point. It is not that no one is dependent on karma to do bhakti. Bhakti is happening, karma is also happening simultaneously. Since Srila Prabhupada is sannyasi, sannyas ashram itself is directly indicating jnana. He has no karma now. When you are in sannyas ashram, no karma principle there. Karma is analogous to Guru Ashram.
okay.
Jnana is analogous to Vanaprasar sannyas order. Simple. Yoga means Ashtanga yoga process.
Then how do we can't classify this terminology to understand the ISKCON's way of?
No, ISKCON say. That's what I'm saying. Na brahmacharis and grahasthas are performing karma mishra bhakti.
Okay.
Sannyasis are performing jnana mishra bhakti. That is still mixed bhakti in that sense. But eventually that mixed bhakti will transform into ananya bhakti one day. That may not be possible because ISKCON is a setup where preaching is given emphasis, not practicing bhakti. They are practicing bhakti by the way doing preaching. But in the case of preaching, you need to accept the facilities and everything you have to do. In traditional sense, sannyasi means it does not travel here and they stay in the forest and practice a sadhana, ashradis, like that, which life goes on. There you can say Jnana Mishra Bhakti means trying to realize
Then
by going
your
through
statement
austerities.
actually says that ISKCON is not actually able to give the opportunity for Dhananya Bhakti.
Huh?
That statement would end in that statement.
At least man say Ananya Bhakti karo. See what Goswamis did. Just draw parallel between Goswamis and current day ISKCON scenario. What were the principal activities of the Goswamis?
Yeah, that is where I want to.
Batao.
They were writing this, studying scriptures,
Writing books, and they are what they are doing?
chanting the holy
Constructing
names.
temples,
Yeah,
chanting holy name, bhajan,
and
etc.
even
etc.
preaching also. By
Preaching,
Sanatana
they were not doing
Goswami.
preaching. That is a casual discussion. They are not preaching the way now things are happening. They don't conduct big classes. They never conducted classes.
Yes.
If at all they had classes, that is only amongst Goswamis, not with the common public.
Raghunath Das Goswami. Yes,
For whom? Only few Goswamis, few other Goswamis only, not to the common janta. Okay, that is only the exclusive community, not general public.
Yeah.
But what they did, they wrote books, they constructed temples. That is for general public. Of course, initially the books are meant for the among themselves only, but eventually it's like that.
Whenever that became.
They wrote books. Our people are speaking from the books. For them, it is writing books. That is their preaching. For them, constructing temple is their preaching. For our current scenario, constructing temple and preaching from the books is the preaching. So like that. They are busy in writing books. Our sannyasis are busy in preaching. Both are same activity only, but external activity is different.
But then how do we actually accommodate and Goswamis are practicing?
Because this is the need of the hour. In the traditional sense, from the yoga ladder point of view, sannyasi does not do all these big activities.
Correct.
He stays in the forest and stays alone. But in the case of bhakti, it is a mood of compassion. Even Brahma gives the instruction to Narada Muni, please go out and preach. That's what they are doing.
So then
But
we need to tailor the definition of Ananya
see,
Bhakti
wait.
with respect to this system also.
Bolne do na. So, whatever duties corresponding to sannyas ashram, to that extent, the tagline should be given, Jnana Mishra Bhakti. But the preaching activities is Ananya Bhakti. Goswami's writing books is not a function of Jnana. It is a function of Bhakti only, preaching Bhakti. So, in that way we should take. Our sannyasis performing all the preaching activities is part of Ananya Bhakti. Like that we should see. So then it makes. It is not that ISKCON is not facilitating Ananya Bhakti. Of course, in one sense, like Raghunath Das Goswami is always immersed in meditation only. Hardly would speak to other Goswamis. Once in a while, once in a month or one occasion comes. But generally he was in meditation. So he is doing Ananya Bhakti. But the need of the hour does not allow our sannyasis want to do that. Our sannyasis want to do that. But because the requirement of the moment, they cannot do it.
So how does that requirement of the movement make the consciousness of a person from Ananya Bhakti to Mishra Bhakti? That is what my question is.
Mishra Bhakti is only to the extent you are following the rules and regulations of sannyas ashram. Does the Goswamis ever followed any rules and regulations of sannyas ashram?
No.
Because they are not sannyasis.
Yes.
They don't have to follow.
Correct.
That makes them ananda bhaktas. But unfortunately, somehow or other, because of society system setup, our people are called as sannyasis. They also need to follow some rules and regulations of sannyas ashram. As long as they are following the rules and regulations of
Even
sannyas
in
ashram,
our
that is called.
Even in our system, the sannyas order which is being followed, that whatever that actually cooperates for the preaching, that we are actually following.
Whatever
Not
it is,
even-
Prabhu, even 1% also, to that much, it's called as Jnana Mishra Bhakti. Remaining all should be taken as Anjana Bhakti. Like that, you see. Remaining all you can take as complete Bhakti only. Preaching activity you can consider as a part of Kirtanam. Kirtanam is a Bhakti. So preaching is Kirtanam. Like that, you see. So preaching is a Bhakti activity. Writing books is a Kirtanam activity. But as much as to the extent they follow sannyas rules, that is part of Jnana. How much percentage they follow in one day, that much only Jnana is there. Remaining all are Kirtanam. Okay? Analyze karte. So whatever it is, that Mishra component wherever is there, that is all within the Varnashrama identity is all within Vidya. So that identity should be given up. Eventually giving up all the identities with respect to Varnas, Ashramas, one should go to the top of the mode of goodness, then jump across. Then one enters into only Bhakti, Turiya state. Then by practicing that Bhakti alone, one realizes the Bhagavan. Then one enters into Vaikuntha. It is only by Bhakti that will be possible. That is understanding.
So with respect to that, when you were actually saying, when they actually reach the Mishra level, and then when they actually go to the performance of Bhakti, and from there they actually practice Bhakti, and then they actually reach Charsti.
It's not that they actually practice Bhakti. They are already practicing Bhakti along with other components. But at this point of time, they will give up all the other components. Only Bhakti remains with them. That is understanding.
Okay. So when they leave the other components, then when they actually follow Kevala Bhakti, then actually they go to Sarshti Asana. Okay?
That is for the yogis. Nishkama Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga practitioners, they will go to, because they want to go to Brahman, Salokya Sarshi, they will get it. If they want to get into Vaikuntha, Sal, Samipya, they will get it. But they may not desire. Generally, they don't desire. Some of them may be exceptions. But in the case of Bhakti point of view, Karma Mishra Bhaktas, Jnana Mishra Bhaktas, and Yoga Mishra Bhaktas, from the very beginning, they were trained to enter into Vaikuntha or Goloka to serve the Lord person. The Seva is given highest importance here. They always heard about it, they always think about it, and eventually they land there only. There are two separate things. These two are separate things. The scriptures, the Vedas will provide two separate paths. For some, the traditional yoga system, for some, Bhakti. But since they are also be part of Varnashram system, they are taglined as Karma Mishra Bhaktas, Jnana Mishra Bhaktas, Yoga Mishra Bhaktas, Aranya Bhaktas. Because since they are living the society, they cannot go away with the society norms. So in that like that. But from the very beginning, they are attracted to service of the Supreme Lord. That's why it is called as Karma Mishra Bhakti. They are actually practicing Bhakti only, but also some sideline activities such as if they are gross as karma, if they are Vanaprastha Sartanasi, some jnana is there. So like that. But majority of society follow this path. This path is followed by only minority, not everyone. The majority will follow Nishkama Karma Yoga, and then Jnana Yoga, and then Ashtanga Yoga, and then with the help of Bhakti Yoga, they will enter into Brahman. Even these people are also not majority. In the Vidya, majority will be this one and minority will be this one. But in general society, these are minority and the majority will be Sakama Karmis. That is Vedic society. The people who are following Vedic purview is like that. But especially in Kali Yuga, if you take Vedic and non-Vedic, Akarmis are much more than the Sakama Karmis and Nishkama Karmis. So like that you can see the quantity. But this verse is clear? Aapko clear hai? He is asking so many questions here and there. Event here and there.
I'm not able to actually understand the only one sentence.
What is that?
However, the spiritual world is actually attained by accepting Bhakti after giving up Vidya also.
Sarvapadi
Vidya means the mixed elements. Whether bhakti mixed with other elements or other elements mixed with bhakti.
But
That
now my
as long as
question
it is mixed, it is part of Vidya.
yeah, so in
Kevala
that-
bhakti is beyond Vidya.
So
Mixed
in
Vidya
that-
means within three modes, within the purview of three modes. And Kevala bhakti is beyond three modes. As long as bhakti mixed with jnana or bhakti mixed with yoga, that is within the purview of three modes. When there is no component of karma, jnana, yoga, then it is Kevala bhakti, that is beyond three modes.
So,
So-
with respect to that, when a yoga, Bhakti Mishra yoga, but Bhakti Mishra yoga also attains the spiritual world,
Yes.
even though he actually comes under Vidya.
Ah.
So then how is this statement correct? That is my question.
That is only I am telling Prabhuji. The Bhakti Mishra yogi also having come to the peak of the mode of goodness, they will give a Ashtanga yoga, na? Then they have to practice bhakti. After coming to the Samadhi platform, they give a Ashtanga yoga practice. Then by practicing that Kevala bhakti, they will realize Bhagavan or Brahman. Then they enter into
Many of this.
Vaikuntha or Brahman.
No, this.
Brahmabhuta prasannatma nasochati nakanshati samas sarveshu bhuteshu. This is the Samadhi platform for a yogi. They have come to Samadhi. Then Mad Bhaktin Labate Param. Till now they are also practicing usually Bhakti. Bhakti was accompanying along with the regular sadhana. At this point of time, they give up Ashtanga yoga practice. After attaining to Samadhi, why do they practice Ashtanga yoga? हो गया ना, एक बार वहां पहुंच गए मतलब छोड़ दिया, उसका काम नहीं. But what remains with you? Bhakti. because शुरू से भक्ति है, थोड़ा 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 अभी अष्टांग योग को निकाल दिया, so bhakti, whatever bhakti remains, it will be there with you. Bhakti, you can't destroy bhakti, you can't give up bhakti.
So my understanding is karma, jnana, and yoga are only the ladders.
Only the ladders.
So you can yoga, bhakti is not the ladder.
Not the ladder, it is
Bhakti
accompanying,
remains with you.
it is with you. So as a grahastha you are practicing karma. When you enter into vanaprastha, do you need to do karma? No. Give up, no? After perfecting vanaprastha sannyas ashram, you have to give up jnana also. That is called perfection. Graduation of jnana yoga is Brahmabhuta platform. Then give that up. But bhakti is there. That is called bhakti mishra jnana. So you gave up jnana. What remains with you? Then you have to practice bhakti.
So it means in the life as a practitioner, he needs to practice the Ananya Bhakti before he actually enters into this Sayujya or any of the other.
That's what I'm telling. The final goal of practicing jnana or ashtanga yoga is atma realization. For Bhagavan realization, one need to practice Ananya Bhakti. Without practicing Bhakti, Bhagavan realization, Brahman realization will not come.
So this is an
Even for
additional
them.
understanding from the second and the third chapter what we have discussed.
Which second chapter?
Second and the second chapter.
No, this is Bhagavad Gita shloka. Brahmabhuta prasannatma is the Bhagavad Gita shloka.
Okay, but in the
That's why
second
I'm saying
chapter-
again and again, आप लोग भक्ति शास्त्र किया, ये ऐसा भक्ति शास्त्र का अंडरस्टैंडिंग है, ऐसे मैं बोल रहा हूँ.
Bhakti Shastra इतना deep कौन है actually?
जाना पड़ता है.
तो गुरुजी जो
अभी आप
from
जो
the
second
context
chapter में
of
बोले थे,
bhakti yoga, जो is performing bhakti. Bhakti is the only prominent thing in his life.
At that time, after giving up jnana, after jumping from sattva guna, when they enter into Shuddha sattva, only bhakti can be practiced. Because jnana, yoga, karma, they are all within three modes only. They don't have any existence beyond.
Right. So in the context of today, for example, we give up karma, मतलब karma, jnana or yoga. So externally we may not be giving. भी कोई गृहस्थ है, वो गृहस्थ आश्रम में रहता है, ब्रह्मचारी ब्रह्मचारी आश्रम.
Just by staying in Grihastha ashram, and we, the so-called brahmacharis, we are actually performing karma.
Karma, right?
We have to perform karma. Without karma, we can't exist.
So अनन्य भक्ति तो कर नहीं सकते, मतलब
कर्म केवल भक्ति नहीं कर सकते अभी.
केवल भक्ति नहीं कर सकते.
बट एक दिन तो करना ही पड़ेगा. एक दिन तो ये सब छोड़ के वही करना पड़ेगा, तभी हमको भगवान का रियलाइजेशन मिलता है. अभी भगवान का ज्ञान मिलेगा, अंडरस्टैंडिंग मिलेगा, रियलाइजेशन मिलने के लिए ये सब छोड़ना पड़ेगा. अनन्य भक्ति तो करना ही पड़ेगा एक दिन, उसके बिना है नहीं.
तो अनन्य भक्ति एक अपने सेटअप में हम सिर्फ प्रैक्टिस कर सकते हैं, हम ऐसा एग्जीक्यूट करना एग्जैक्टली वैसा पॉसिबल नहीं हो सकता, फिर हो भी सकता है. Only we can whenever we have
but there is a possibility for that also. How? even while staying in the particular ashram, Grihastha, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasi also, we can still practice Ananya Bhakti. How? Namang karmani limpanti name karma phalaspuha. You remember that verse? Then what is the next line? Itimam yo vijanati tatve natas chavantite. Lord Krishna himself is acting as a Grihastha. Did he go through Vanaprastha ashram or Sannyasa ashram? But still he attained perfection. In the sense, attain perfection means from external point of view, he went back to Godhead. Na? Of course, he is the Lord from there, but still, if you see him as a sadhaka, he went back to Godhead. Lord Krishna. Same way can happen to a sadhaka also. Even a sadhaka, even while living in Brahmachari ashram or Grihastha ashram, if you follow exactly the way Lord Krishna followed, Namang karmani limpanti, karma will not bind me when name karma phalaspuha. While
That is non-attachment. Na?
Nishkama karma yoga also. That is, I'm not talking about Nishkama karma yoga or Vishka bhakti yoga. I'm talking about the principle. Even for us, that is the principle for karma. That only I'm telling you. Even for us also, even for us brahmacharis and the grihasthas outside, while rendering all our household duties, if you perform all the household duties without karma phalaspuha, we are not bound by the activities. In spite of performing all the duties, it is as good as we are not performing any duties.
Non-attachment to anything.
Non-attachment to result,
Right.
not performing the duty. One
You-
should
you
perform
know,
the
you
duty.
should do duty as a duty.
But rather, bhakti teaches actually that you do this duty
That one step
and you
higher.
actually do it for the pleasure of Krishna.
No. Bhakti means offer the duty unto me and then perform the duty. The definition of bhakti is offer the action unto me and then perform the activity. That means you are not performing the activity only. When it is called a performing activity, when you are performing the activity for yourself, that means you are performing the activity. Then you are entitled to experience the results, good or bad. You are offering the activity to the Lord and performing the activities. You are not done for yourself only. Then आपका कोटा में action है ही नहीं. So even though you are a brahmachari or grihastha, if you perform activity like this, you are not performing any activity. So there will be no karma tagline. Then you are performing only kevala bhakti.
So what is this offering the duty? It is nothing but the how would that actually come? Offering the duty to the Lord and then performing. What is the state of consciousness for that?
Okay. Now, as per your schedule, you are this 1 year training program in which you are given a task. What are your services in general throughout the day? From morning 5 AM to 4:30 onwards?
Morning temple hall cleaning and brahmachari serving that.
So now you tell me. So how you introduce yourself? What are the services you do in a day? You tell me what are the services you do in a day?
If one is
You tell in a direct sense. First, what
not like
is
the
that
chanting,
direct sentence?
not like the chanting or
That also you tell. You should tell like that. I do temple hall cleaning from morning 4:30 to 5, and 5 to 7:15 I'll be in the temple morning program. 7:15 to 7:45 I'll take breakfast. Then I'll attend Darshan Arti, Guru Puja, Bhagavatam class. Then I take some rest. Then I study Bhagavatam. Then I attend Bhakti Vaibhav class. Okay. Then again I write exam. Then again I study in the evening. I take little prasadam or milk. Again I go to sleep. So what I am repeating in all these sentences?
I do.
As long as that I do is there, I am owning that service. That means I am doing some karma. But while doing all these things, you should not tell that I am doing. That means there is no karma aspect only. When I say I am doing all these things, I am performing karma Mr. Bhakti. When that I do aspect is not there, I am doing Ananya Bhakti. In spite of doing all these things also. Then who is doing? If you are not doing, who is doing? Then you should tell that this activity is already offered to the Lord. This activity is being performed by me. Or this activity is being performed by this body. This body not belongs to me. Whom this body belongs to?
All the tanmatras and elements are supplied by the Lord.
It belongs to him. Oh, he is doing with these elements. He is doing the services with these elements for his pleasure. I have nothing. I am simply witness. When you come to that consciousness, then you are Ananya Bhakta. One example of Grihastha being Ananya Bhakta is
Janak Maharaj.
Jangamara also you can take, but recent example, Srivas Thakur. He's staying in the home only. Did you ever hear in Chaitanya Charanta that he is performing some priestly activities or something like that? Agricultural priestly activities? Sab ho gaya. He is in the Grihastha ashram only, but not doing any Grihastha activities. That is Ananya Bhakti. उतना नहीं इसलिए हम कर्म मिश्र भक्ति कर रहे हैं.
But for a practitioner, how does he actually go, Prabhu?
वो मतलब क्या?
In the transition, for a practitioner, he actually keeps doing karma mishra.
That's what we have to develop this transition. That's what I gave the example. When the son becomes graduate in the university, getting gold medal, how does the father feel in that accomplishment? How does we feel in our execution of seva? Both are same only. What father is feeling, what we are feeling today is both are same. If anybody asks, what are you doing here? What you will say? We are attending class for the Bhakti Vaibhav course. You say, I am doing Bhakti Vaibhav course. Any sane man will say a Bhakti Vaibhav course. If you don't say like that, you will, others are considering you as fanatic, not fanatic, pagal. That's the problem. So that's where we should pagal banna padta hai. Ananya Bhakti karna matlab pagal banna padta hai. So it's like that. We need to transit that consciousness to this side. Then we enter into Ananya Bhakti purview. Even in spite of doing all these activities, we are not identifying with doing that activity. Krishna says at least is merciful. Na karma, na mein karma phala spruha. Karma karte samay spruha rahega chalega. But by Ananya Bhakti, even you should not think of the doer of the activity also. Because just by thinking ourselves of the doer of activity, that subsequent reaction is I am the enjoyer that comes. But first of all, we should think that I am not the doer. So that's why Lord Krishna says how to perform activity in the 18th chapter 6th verse. Na sangam. Sangam tektva. Phalam tektva. One should never say that I am the doer. And then actually the expected result is I am not supposed to be enjoy the results. If I am not saying I am the doer, then I cannot say that I am supposed to be enjoy the results. If I say that I have not done, but give me, I want to enjoy. Others will say, क्या पागल है क्या आपको क्यों देने का कुछ नहीं करेगा तो नहीं मिलेगा करेगा तो मिलेगा नहीं तो नहीं मिलेगा. But somebody may question, you are saying that I should not say that I am the doer, and you are saying that I am not supposed to eat also, enjoy the results also. Phalam tektva, give the phala also. Why should I do the activity? Kartavyanti me bharata. You should do it because it is your duty. You have been invested in training, so you should do it duty. As a brahmachari, you have been invested in training in this particular aspect, so you should render the duty till the time allows. Once your duties are done, then give up. So it is like that. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Gopal Bhatta Goswami and Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, as long as your parents are there, you serve them. That is a duty. Because parents took care of you and you are infant, now you have to take care of them when they are old. Service is taken care. If you marry, you have to serve your wife and children, but don't get married. After this service is over, you are done with your responsibilities, go to Vrindavan. Then practice Ananya Bhakti. Till the time service is there, that is Karma Mishra Bhakti. As long as we identify with Brahmachari Ashram, we need to do
Even
some
though
Brahmachari Ashram
I'm not
services.
able to actually be convinced that they are performing karma mishra bhakti.
Who?
Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Even when
See, that is the problem. Because once we put a rubber stamp, we always want to identify with them. Karma Mishra Bhakti is not demeaning or reducing their position. Karma Mishra Bhakti is not at all degrading position. Karma Mishra Bhakti is also as great as Ananya Bhakti.
it is just
It is nowhere it is low.
karma mishra bhakti because externally
lower level.
अम्मा ऐसे सोचते. The problem is that
I'll express my understanding. You can validate it. It's like they are actually Ananya Bhaktas
at
but
heart.
At heart, just externally they are actually performing karma. That is why they are actually
because of the requirements of the ashram. Because they are in the home, they are in the Grihastha ashram, they need to perform the duties.
So
This
that is
just
why
because
from external point of view they
they
are
are
called
called
karma.
nahi hai.
By heart they are Ananya
Ah.
Bhaktas.
By heart they are Ananya Bhaktas. When the duties are done, they are free. They are not attached to the duties. If he is attached to duties, he could have married. but they are not attached because they are supposed to perform those duties. So it is like that. But while performing the duties, they never attach to the results. But unfortunately, our case is not like that. We are attached to the results. That's why our karma principle is very strong, deep rooted within us. When we develop the consciousness that we need to perform our duties as a matter of duty only, not with the intention of getting the results, expecting the results. That transition should happen. Then we can say our bhakti is Ananya Bhakti.
Thank you, Prabhu, for opening their eyes.
Because I always speak about these things in our classes because many times now, many of our devotees, they actually Karma Mishra Bhakti, Jnana Mishra Bhakti, they speak as if a derogative way. They are very low, they are very small. Indra is a Karma Mishra Bhakta. Indra always makes mistakes. Not like that. Karma Mishra Bhakta is a wonderful devotee. He is doing that service because it is given to him. When the duty is over, he remains Uttam Bhakta. But the problem with the duty is that the duty sometimes makes a person to identify with the activities of the duty. That's why they make mistakes sometimes here and there. So it happens to anyone. When we also.
But in the case which you said, if they are internally Ananya Bhaktas and they are actually performing the karma, then they will not be even influenced by the activities and performance.
It is not because of their consciousness. The activity will influence them. Even Brahma got influenced by his service. Then what to speak of Indra? Brahma was also influenced by his service of creating Vagdevi and he followed after that girl. So Brahma get influenced, then why not Indra? But that is not a black spot on them. That is not a fall down of their consciousness. That is, it happened accidentally. It happened accidentally. Yeah, it is the nature of the seva, the nature of the activity. So it happens. We make mistake every day. We in our part of our department services, we quarrel with the devotees only many times. Because everyone is devotee only around us. We quarrel. We have difference of opinion, difference of this thing, and we eventually will develop negativity toward the devotees. We don't speak to them many times. We don't speak to them. We don't speak reverentially, respectfully. We only doing among ourselves. Then what to speak of others outside? So these are all happen because we are not pure in the heart. Still the Tadatas are still there, and all these things are there. So in that way. So at Indra level, he is also pure 99%. Maybe a little bit small contamination may be there, because of which sometimes he may subjected to that lower consciousness. That way we should see. But we should not speak them like derogative way. Karma Mishra Bhakti is not a derogation. It is actually responsibility toward that respect to activity. They are doing willingly. That is a voluntary service, Baba. He is not getting paid in that sense. So this verse you understood? In this world, there are only two paths in the Vedic purview. Shasana, Anasana. Shasana means Pravritti Marga. Anasana means Nivritti Marga. Pravritti Marga means Sakama Karma. Nivritti Marga means Ashtanga, Nishkama Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga and Brahman. One path. The other one is Karma Mishra Bhakti, Jnana Mishra Bhakti, Yoga Mishra Bhakti, Ananya Bhakti, and Bhagavan. But Ananya Bhakti does not come in the category of Vidya or Avidya. It is beyond. And though in this verse, Avidya is only indicating Pravritti Marga, that is only Sakama Karma. But Avidya also indicates Vikarma also. Vikarma also can be taken as part of Avidya. But Vikarma does not come in the purview of Vedas. That's why it is not mentioned here. Because Vikarma is also cycle of repetition, Sakama Karma also giving you rebirth. Vikarma also gives rebirth. So Yashmad Andam Virajajne Bhutendriya Gunatmaka Tadravyam Atyagat Vishwam Gobi Surya Ivatapan.
From the Lord, the universe was born. The Lord, possessing elements, senses, and gunas, after entering the universe, surpassed that material universe and remained in the spiritual world, just as the sun illuminates the universe with its rays while remaining in its.
Same thing, you remember? Adatishta Dashangulam. Why verse ka same principle going here and there. Just like Lord comes here, he sleeps here and goes back to spiritual world. Like that, we should also come to this world, we should sleep and go back to spiritual world. Then we are not bound here. But we don't sleep here. We are active here. We perform activities. Because of that activities, we are bound here. We should follow in the course of Lord. When he comes here, he sleeps. Mental enjoyment, okay, aap karo, मैं सो रहा हूँ. Then no one is bound here. So that is understanding. The spiritual world of three parts is the display of Chit Shakti. The Supreme Lord is attained to this place. Sir, the Supreme Lord is attached to this place. The material world of one part is a display of Maya Shakti. He, from whom this material realm was born, is not attached to this place, merely assists it. Paramatma comes here, Garbhodaksha Vishnu comes here. He creates the lotus flower, again goes to Yoga Nidra. Kshirodaksha Vishnu comes here and he sets rules and regulations for the entire universe. He goes to Yoga Nidra. Whenever some problem comes, the Devatas come and pray. That time he gets up and solves the problem. Again goes to Yoga Nidra. Many times he does not come to solve. He sends the message to spiritual world. Narsingadev, please come, your time aa gaya. Vamandev, come, your time aa gaya. Like that, unko message bhejte, wo log aate, karke jaate. He is in Yoga Nidra only. So it is like that. Getting how one should behave in this material world.
You should write one more chapter in your book. How the Lord is Yoga Nidra.
But it should be in common language. जैसा हम बात कर रहे हैं वैसे language में लिखना.
No, लिख नहीं सकते. इसे बोल सकते but लिख नहीं कर सकते. The Lord endowed with matter, senses and gunas, entering the universal form, manifesting it, surpassed it, since he is unattached to it. After coming to the material world, manifesting the universal form, setting the rules and regulations, setting the departmental system, everything is done. Then he went back. आप करते जो करते रहो बस. Or he is here only, but went into Yoga Nidra. This means, having gone there, he still remains eternally in his spiritual abode on three parts. An example is given. He is like the sun, which is situated in its globe, illuminates the universe. Sun God is there in sun planet only, but उनका sunlight इधर आ रहा है. जो काम करना करता रहता है इधर. जो evaporate करना water जो भी है, stool, urine and water, everything it evaporates, cleans all the area. But sun is there only. It is unaffected by all the activities sunlight is doing here. So something like that. The Lord is detached from the material world and is attached to the spiritual world. Therefore, he maintains this material world only through his energies, while he himself stays in the spiritual world. So in the Yoga Nidra, he is remembering or meditating on the activities in the spiritual world. So like that. That's why Lord Krishna says, what is the verse number? Not verse number, verse for the number. Bhagavad Gita chapter 8, shloka number 7. Kolo mat. Mind kolo.
8.7.
8.5 is Antikale cha Mamicha Smaran Mukta Kalayaram. 8.6 is Yamyam Vapi Smaran Bhavam. 8.8 is what? Bapre. Bhakti Shastri certificates will cancel. Will cancel today.
Actually, उसको इतने श्लोक किधर पूछते हैं?
8.8 is the very important slok of the entire Bhagavad Gita. वो श्लोक पता नहीं तो अभी भगवद गीता पता नहीं. Sir, 8.7, 8.5, 8.6, 8.7, third shloka.
तस्मात् सर्वेषु कालेषु माम् अनुस्मरयुः मयि अर्पिता मनो भक्ते मामे वैश्यस्य असंशयः.
Tasma sarveshu kaleshu, at all times, at all places, mam anusmara yuddhacha, by meditating upon me. Smaranam should go on within the mind, but externally karma should go on. For Arjuna, is the grahastha kshatriya fight. For you and me, whatever brahmachari ashram demands, all the services. For me, maintenance department, for you, everything. Temple hall cleaning, prasam, serving, backup seva, and these classes, all these things, these are your services. Ma manusmara yuddhacha. Jadu pocha marna, etc. How? Mai arpita manobuddhir, by offering your mind and intelligence unto me. Mam eva eshasi na samshayam.
Assumption.
Asamshayah. Without doubt, you will come to me. If you do this, without doubt, you will come to me.
वो झाड़ू पोछे कर रहे हैं तो हम इसको ऐसे मेंटली क्या ऐसे रिपीटिशन करते रहते हैं.
Your hands and legs are doing jadu puja. No, not legs are moving, hands are moving, eyes are seeing, ears are hearing. All the jnananjas karmas are engaged in the jadu puja. Your mind intelligence is engaged in the smaranam. Supposed to be engaged in the smaranam. Ma manusmara yuddhacha. Yuddha is with the senses. Anusmara is with the subtle senses. Mind, intelligence, ego, and chetana. These four should be engaged in smaranam, and the five jnana, the five karmas should be engaged in the fight. It's like that.
Chanting में नहीं होता है.
Why problem?
झाड़ू पोछे
See,
में क्या
I'm not saying that we should do. I mean, this is what Lord Krishna is saying. That is what we should do. If you do that, asamshaya mam evashasi. If you don't do that, Hare Krishna. Here only. अभी हरे कृष्ण करेंगे, नेक्स्ट लाइफ भी हरे कृष्ण करेंगे, तो बाद में भी हरे कृष्ण करेंगे, बाद में भी हरे कृष्ण करेंगे, करते रहेंगे. Superficially.
वो कुछ महाप्रभु में कुछ स्पेशल कंसेशंस है क्या इसमें? कृष्णा.
We are discussing Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. चैतन्य चरितामृत बाद में बात करेंगे. So tell me, what is the time now?
5:30.
How many verses covered?
Nice discussion है.
बट आपका भागवतम क्लास कब खत्म होगा?
भागवत
वो बोल रहे थे सेकंड कैंडो पूरा करने के लिए. मैं बोला कम से कम 8 चैप्टर्स कंप्लीट करूंगा करके. 6 चैप्टर भी कंप्लीट नहीं हुआ. कल लास्ट क्लास है.
if you want to take extra class.
मुझे और दूसरा काम नहीं के.
When are you leaving?
Sunday. No, tomorrow will be your last class. जितना होगा उतना होगा. So I said Rasikram Prabhu that my might complete till 7th chapter. 3 दिन से मैं स्लो चल रहा है गाड़ी. 3 दिन से बहुत स्लो चल रहा है.
अंडरस्टैंडिंग के लिए भी थोड़ा सा डिफिकल्ट मतलब
ये actually topics we never heard before also.
मैं पढ़ा है सेकंड कैंटो प्रभु जी
न
कब पढ़ा
भूतो न भविष्यति.
नहीं मैंने सेकंड कैंटो कब पढ़ा है पता है क्या? 2014 14 में पढ़ा था मैंने.
Even though actually I read, I never have.
So if you just give me 10 minutes, we'll just do till 30th verse. There are not so many notes. Very quickly, we quickly brush through. Okay, and then 5 minutes we'll close this. So at least some 30 verses तक हो गया अभी बाद में देखिए. Because afterwards 31 onwards they are again very important verses. We need to spend time to discuss them.
Tomorrow if you want, you can take bit extra also.
Tomorrow I have mother cooking also. चलो. यदास्या नाभयं नलिनात् अहम् आसन् महात्मना नाविदं यज्ञ संभारान् पुरुषावयवान् रते. Read quickly.
When I appeared from the lotus in the Lord's navel, I could not see any ingredients for sacrifice other than the limbs of the Lord.
Now Lord Rama giving an example how Lord is both material cause, also the material cause of the universe. So now simple example. Lord Brahma is the teacher of, here Lord Brahma is showing himself an example of a teacher of Nishkama Karma Yogi. Because Brahma is the teacher of everyone, na? Is our all, every living it is Pratham Guru. He is the one who is supposed to teach Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, everyone is supposed to teach. Here in this section, he is teaching how to perform Karma Yoga. Basically, how to perform Yajna. Yajna is an anga of Karma Yoga. He is telling that when I appeared from the lotus of the Lord's navel, I could not see any ingredient for sacrifice other than the limbs of the Lord. What all one need for sacrifice? Whatever one need. The grains, ghee, instruments, fire, wood, everything that is needed for yajna. He could not see all these ingredients here and there. If the Lord is everything, then how can I serve him with a method to attain him? Since there is no differentiation of materials, articles of worship, and even his worshippers. This is true because it is necessary to worship him, and because there is nothing except him in reality, one should perform worship of him with articles which are also him, just as one worships earth with the scent and flowers made of earth, just as one worships the ocean with the water of the ocean. His order alone is the authority. Lord told, Sahajna Praja Sushta Purovacha Prajapati Anena Prasavidastam Estavo Ishta Kamadu. Sahayajna Praja Sushta. Lord Brahma, at the time of creation, he created all the living entities. He also told, my dear sons, please be happy by performing yajna. When human beings perform yajna, devatas get nectar. When they get nectar, they are nourished. They send forth water, rains. Then the human beings get to till the land, get grains. Then they are nourished. And then they perform yajna. Devatas are nourished. They send rains. The human being gets food grains. They are nourished. They perform yajna. Devatas nourished. So both are nourished. It is a proper system established in the beginning. So Lord is saying that, my dear Brahma, perform yajna and be happy. By performing yajna, you will be happy and I will be happy. Okay. But for performing yajna, you need a lot of ingredients. He looked all around. He saw plants. Plants are the hairs of the Virat Rupa. Okay. He saw fire. Fire is the mouth of Virat Rupa.
He actually saw that.
Saw means, because Brahma is endowed with Vedic knowledge. Na?
That was.
One who knows that knowledge, he understands that. If you understand that, you know it.
Right.
It is as good as seeing that.
मतलब वहाँ पे material ingredients थे तो ऐसा सोच रहे थे.
Ingredient है, but ingredient का ये ऐसा ये रूप में देख रहे हो. Fire, Lord's mouth. Air is corresponding to Lord's skin. Air is the skin devata na. Touch, air is touch na. Air is the skin devata. Fire, and the plants and the trees are like the hairs. And what else we would in using the yajna? Like this something. So they are all correspond to different things, different body limbs of the Lord. But Lord order is to perform yajna. If Lord is ordering me to perform yajna using all these ingredients, even though the ingredients are Lord's form only, still I will use them in the service of the Lord. But I will never make a mistake of using them in my service. For Lord's sake, I will use all of them, but not for my sake. Like for example, once past time happened for Prabhupada, when Prabhupada told some of his disciples in the West, so make drawings and put all over my room. So Mataji made one drawing. She has to put the drawing just behind Prabhupada, where Prabhupada is sitting. She was waiting for Prabhupada to get up so that she can put the picture there. Prabhupada did not get up, but Prabhupada observed her. She was moving here and there. Then she asked, what are you doing here? Then she said that, Prabhupada, if you move around, I want to put this there. Prabhupada said that if you want to do this, you can climb on me and put it there. No issue. If it is for the service of the Lord, you can climb on me also and put it. It's like that. For Lord's sake, it can be done, but not for our sake. So like that. So because there is nothing except the Supreme Lord, one should perform worship of Him with articles which are also Him. Just as one worships earth with the scent and flowers made of earth, His order alone is authority. Because Lord's order is there to perform yajna, he cannot avoid that. So even by using Lord himself, one should perform yajna, no issues. Lord himself means Lord in the form of all the ingredients that are required for yajna. To show this, Brahma gives himself as an example. When I appeared from the lotus in his navel, there was no ingredients for sacrifice other than the Lord. So in the prayer. So read the translation. What are the ingredients Brahma collected from the form of the Lord? They are mentioned in this verse. Read the translation. Little louder, clearly.
By using the limbs of the Lord, I assembled the following ingredients: animals, the sacrificial posts, the kusha grass, the proper place, and the proper time, such as spring. Plates and other utensils, plants like rice, ghee, honey, metals like gold, earth, water, verses of Rig, Yajur, and Samuvedas, the various offerings of oblations, the names of the sacrifices like
Jyotishtoma,
the mantras, gifts, vows, assigning the regions of the devatas, the sacrificial manuals, ritual vows, and the modes of performance.
All these things are required in the performance of yajna. Everything is required. For example, one thing is devatas. When you perform yajna, all the 8 corners, the 8 lokapalas are supposed to be installed, if you ever observed. So there are a lot of procedure is there. And if suppose in the yajna, animals are supposed to be offered, animals are collected, kusha grass mat is required. Yajna cannot be performed anywhere and everywhere. A proper place should be selected. And time also, spring season, generally, spring season, it is not a rainy season, not winter season, not summer season. It is like very pleasant season. So the yajna will not be interrupted by natural calamities, etc. etc. So grains like rice, Ghee is required, honey is required, panchamrut ke liye. Gold vessels are required, and earth element, mruda. Earth element is also used in the making Yajna and other things, etc., etc. Water, and the mantras are chanted from Rigveda, Samaveda, etc., etc. And what kind of sacrifice they perform? Sacrifice like Jyotishtomar, Ashwamedha, Gomedha, like that. So, vows. While performing it, they should not eat, they should not go to bathroom for evacuation or urinating. All these things are there. They need to fast and do all these things. etc. So, like this, all these things are there. You cannot do just like that. Even फरज also ना बैकअप करते समय कैसे करते? बैकअप करने के बाद स्नान करके फ्रेश क्लोथ पहन के बीच में पास 1 किलो नहीं जाना चाहिए, दूर 2 किलो नहीं जाना चाहिए. सेम थिंग है, आल्सो सेम थिंग.
जो बाहर मतलब ऐसा बाहर से जो आते हैं बैकअप रूम में,
हाँ.
वो टच वगैरह होता है.
Generally, no one is allowed to come inside
लेकिन
backup room, but for some practical reasons they come. But traditionally, especially the backup rule is that पैंट शर्ट से कोई नहीं अंदर आना चाहिए, जनरल ड्रेस से कोई नहीं आना चाहिए. Only those who are taken bath with wearing fresh clothes, they are supposed to come inside. Others are not allowed. Even we also general time we should not go. Backup के लिए जाते हैं, बाद में कभी टाइम पे महाप्रसाद के लिए जाते हैं ना, नॉर्मल ड्रेस प्रसाद होने के बाद बाथरूम जाके ऐसे आके जाते हैं. That is not supposed to be good. क्या करें कलयुग का प्रभाव. This sentence continues for 4 verses. In order to make ingredients for sacrifice, I produce the ingredients from Lord's limbs only. All these are somehow or other come to different limbs of the Lord. Nothing comes because Lord provided everywhere in the entire universe. We have seen that everything is Lord only provided. The animals, this, that, everything is Lord only providing. So nothing is other than the Lord only. So he has to collect everything from the universal form only. Vanaspati means, Vanaspatya means sacrificial post. Deva Yajanam is sacrificial ground for it. So we have seen all those things. The names are there. By using the limbs of the Lord, I assembled all the ingredients needed for the sacrifice. From Lord's limbs only, I collect all the ingredients. Then I perform sacrifice. Gatayo matayaschaiva prayachittam samarpanam purusha vayavayor ete sambhara sambrutamaya.
By using the limbs of the Lord, I assembled the movements, the prayers, the atonements, and the final.
Yeah. I performed yajna. Basically, the meaning is I performed the yajna by using the ingredients of the Lord. Gataya means movements like the 3 steps taken by the sacrifices. Sacrifice is supposed to take 3 steps. So one of the ritual may be there. Mataya means meditation verses for the devatas. Idam Indraya Swa, Idam Nama, something like that. Or the 8 devatas, 8 lokapalas which are invited to protect the sacrifice. Samarpanam means offering of the sacrifice to the Lord. Idam Indraya Swaha, Idam Vaishnava Namaha, Idam Haraya Namaha, Idam Narsimhaya Namaha, Idam Varahaya Namaha, like that. That is Samarpanam.
Even the sacrifice we made offering to the Lord, it is through devatas only.
Yes.
Not directly. Not.
This is the Lord Brahma is talking about Bhakti Mishra Karma Yajna. That is general Yajna. When it comes to Vaishnava Yajna, the Yajnas, the devatas are replaced by different associates of Lord Vishnu sometimes. Here the Yajna, whichever devotees perform, all the devatas are replaced by the Vaishnava, Lord Vishnu's associates. Like generally for outside Yajna, they perform first Arati to Ganeshji for Vigna Vinashaka. But when it comes to Vaishnava Yajna, the first offering is given to Vishwaksena. Who is Vishwaksena? Someone.
So one of the associates.
In that. Iti samruta sambara purusha vayaveraham tameva purusham yajnam tenai vajam ishwaram.
With these ingredients,
Sorry.
that is assembled through the limbs of the Lord, I perform sacrifice to you.
Same thing, continues the previous verse. Concerning sacrifice, the Shruti says, Yajno vai Vishnu, sacrifice is Lord Vishnu. This verse refers to the Purushasukta line, Yat Purushena Havisha Deva Yajanam Atanvata. The Devatas performed sacrifice using the Lord at the oblations. And Yajnena Yajnam Ayajanta. They performed sacrifice using the Lord only. Yajnena Yajnam Ayajanta. Yajna is performed for the satisfaction of Lord Yajna using Yajna. Matlab, Lord's manifestation form of universal form, which is manifesting in the form of all the ingredients. So in that way. Brahmarpanam, Brahma Havir, Brahmana Hutam, Brahma Vatena Gantavyam, Brahma Karma Samadhina. So this is that verse. Everything is manifestation of Brahman only, in the form of different ingredients in the Agni. So and everything is offered to Brahman in the form of various devatas and Brahman himself. So in that way. Tataste bhratara ime prajanam patayo nava ayajan vyaktam avyaktam purusham susamahita.
Then your brothers,
Read loud.
9 Prajapatis with concentrated minds worship visible persons like Indra and the invisible Lord.
So Lord Brahma at one point of time manifested 10 sons, out of which Narada is the monk, celibate monk. He did not become Grihastha, but other 9 sons of Brahma became Grihasthas. For Grihastha, Yajna is compulsory. So other 9 brothers performed like that. Narada Brahma is saying that. Then your 9 brothers who are Prajapatis, because they married and begot children, they are Prajapatis, and with concentrated minds worshipped visible persons like Indra and the invisible Lord. They performed yajna, in which they worshipped all the devatas who are responsible for the maintenance of the universe, and also the Supreme Lord, who is the in charge of the maintenance. So in that way, Vyaktam means persons like Indra, and Avyaktam means the Lord, Kshodaksha Vishnu. This verse illustrates the meaning of Purusham Jatam Agrata Tena Deva Ayajanata. Placing the Lord in front of them, the devatas worshipped him by the sacrifice. Tatascha manavakale ijire rishayo pare pitaro vibudha daitya manushya kratubir vidhu vibhum.
Then the Manus, sages, Pitris, Devatas, the Daityas and humans on different occasions worship the Lord using sacrifice.
Okay, here it is, the meaning is that in Brahmaloka, after my performance, later on your brothers who are staying in Tapaloka, Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, all these 9 brothers, they performed yajna. Then as you come down in the lower planet system such as Bhuloka, Borloka, Sargaloka and lower planets, who all also performed yajna. Then the Manus who stay in the Bhuloka, the sages who stay in Sargaloka, Pitrus, okay, Pitrus stay in the Bhuloka, the Devatas who stay in Sargaloka, the Daityas who stay in the Vilaswarga, and the humans who stay in the Bhuloka. On different occasions, when they had the opportunity, whenever they had the, not every day, whenever they had the opportunity, worship the Lord using the sacrifice. Later on, everyone all throughout the universe performed yajnas to worship the Lord the way I did, following in my footsteps. Then Manu, sages, Pitrus, etc. worship the Lord using sacrifice. This is how yajna started. And Brahma performed. After Brahma, 9 Prajapatis performed. Afterwards, everyone else in the entire universe performed. It is not only for any them only, it is for everyone. Then tomorrow we will discuss about Brahma's summary of Narada Muni's questions in 3 verses. Afterwards, the important section. Brahma established that why should you believe my words? Whatever I spoke in the last 2 verses, last 2 chapters, why you should believe? You might be making the stories like that on my question. So Brahma might be making stories like that on my question. Then Brahma establishes why you should believe that.
The other school of thought then actually says that Brahma is also one among the living entities. How can we consider his words to be the infallible words?
That's why every commentary Acharyas are quoting Purushottam prayer. This is not only the version of the Smrutis, it is also the version of the Shrutis. They are correlating one-on-one verse. So what is mentioned, they have the acceptance of Shrutis. So वही बता रहे इधर ना कुछ नहीं. They should accept. That's why Purushottam confirmed. Okay. हरे कृष्णा ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव भक्तवृंद की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव भक्तवृंद की जय.